You're my special friend.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Special Friends Podcast. It's your boy Wuzi, and I'm here with two very, very special guests. One that you guys already know, and a new face. We got
Anthony Z, man.
Anthony Z and
Joel.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, welcome back and welcome
Yes.
here.
Thank you.
And with you being here, something I want to get into, just right off the back, something that we do with all our guests when we first come on, is, again, Special Friends started with me like reaching out to homies and having a conversation. And a conversation I always like to have was, how do you consider someone a friend? Like, what are the traits that you consider a friend?
Yeah. Wow, that's a really good question. I think a friend is more than just, somebody that you see every day or every other day or whenever it is. It's somebody you can count on. I would assume, or I would feel, and I think that having a friend to call on in those times where it's dark in life, that's what I would consider a friend. Where it's like, hey, it's 2 a.m. I got something blowing up. I need your help.
Yeah.
It's either, I've been in those dark moments. And for me, what was really key for me and my wife is that she was my friend first. And then, obviously became my wife. But in a dark time when I had ideation and just dark thoughts, she was there for me. She pulled up. So
nice.
It's really important to me, in that relationship, in that regards. But just a friend in general, someone you can call on, I would say, just to, put it short.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I always feel like there's that through line of like a friend, like a real friend, is someone who like, well, I need you to pull up, I need you to pull up. Yeah. Not that, oh, bro.
Yeah.
It's 7:30, bro.
Yeah, right.
You gotta go to bed.
You have a problem a little bit later.
I'm in the house already.
All right.
It's like, bro, can we handle this in the morning?
Like an associate.
Yeah, exactly.
Business
got
hours.
promoted.
Bro, hey, you know what I'm saying? Got business hours. Hey, that's a bar.
That's really
Oh
good.
my goodness, but that's real. That's real. What I realized was, being a friend is inconvenient sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sacrifice. But it's like worth it. Like in the end, like you being able to be like supported by your wife like that. I know that I've done that for a few other people that I know, and they've just called me up, and a very similar situation in a dark place, and we up until 12, and they're like, "Man, really appreciate you." I said, "Yeah, anytime."
Yeah.
So that availability, and just being able to sacrifice my first world delicacies and benefits of sleep and video games and snacks and all that, whatever. Yeah, so.
That's a good point, too. Especially the thing that I always think of when I ever get that like little thought like, oh, it's inconvenient. It's like, bro, you inconvenient yourself for nothing.
Man.
Like, you inconvenient yourself playing video games, watching a movie, binging an anime or something like that. So it's like, now it's my friend. I'm like, no, I can't do it, bro.
Right, man.
Can't do it this time.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna get nothing out of this.
I'm doing something right now. I'm doing something that's important. Yeah. Right, man.
Bro, I'm in the middle of something.
Been busy all day.
It's 20 squads left, man. That's funny. But it's also interesting too, like having you guys here again. It's just funny because like as we were talking before we got on the pod, like we've all had like our like kind of hand to play in the church startup we all tapped into.
Right.
We all were part of production at one point, which is pretty interesting as well. We're talking about how challenging that was.
It's a different beast.
So it's interesting. Like I'm just like interested how this conversation is gonna go because like I met Joe before I met Anthony and we had our inside jokes. We're all setting up and stuff like that, and the same thing with Anthony. So I feel like it's gonna be a real good conversation. I've always appreciate you guys. So I'm happy to have you up on here. But with that, I just want to tap in. Like, what's been going on with you guys? What update?
Life update.
Life update.
Joe, you better kick it off, man. This is your first time on here. Give me up.
Recently, just been trying to secure more gigs with my business. That's been difficult, really difficult. Last year was a really dry year.
What do you do with your business?
Photo, video.
Okay.
And live production. So right now I'm doing the live production at the church in Del Paso, but that's been good. But it's been hard just trying to secure clients.
Yeah.
And because it's a pretty lucrative business, but not a lot of people want to pay that type of money. And so finding that area where I can get in the market, that actually hits, and the spam that I get too, all the scam stuff. It's like, oh, can you edit this video for me? It's like a random Gmail that just comes across it. And can you edit this video for me? I'll give you $400 or something like that. I'm like, yeah, no, this is not real. I'm not clicking on anything, you know.
Straight to spam.
So it's disheartening, you know. And I mean, as far as work goes, that's kind of what I've been up to. But yeah, just family life, bro. That's kind of the big update. Just living life now post my wife's brain surgery, and then she broke her sternum, and my daughter broke her arm. It was the end of last year, bro. It's crazy. Like October, it was an insane season. So from October, so my wife had a brain surgery to remove the brain tumor, and then at the end of October, we bought the trailer to move into full time. We had this whole plan. We thought we were going to be saving money. Long term, I went in like 30 grand in debt. So, and I'll kind of you know, go to that in a second. But yeah, you know, then we get the trailer. My daughter's in gymnastics. She breaks her arm, and then and that's at the beginning of November. And then at the beginning of December, we get into a really bad car accident. I sprain my shoulder, bruise my ribs. My wife breaks her sternum. We're in the ER. And the ER is like, they should have taken you to the other ER. We're not set up for this. Yeah, because apparently a car accident over 45 miles an hour is traumatic. So they got to take us over to a trauma center.
Got it.
The ER that we went to was not equipped for that.
All we got is Band-Aids up in here, man.
Band-Aids and morphine. Some saline. That's it. No, dude, for real, like when we pulled up, they were like, what's going on? We had 4 different doctors for all, like one for each. And I'm like, trying to give answers for my wife, for my kids, and for myself. I'm like, I think I'm okay, but they ended up doing a whole bunch of stuff on me. CT scans, x-rays, blood tests. They did it for all of us, basically. Mm-hmm. And so they cleared us all, but when we found out my wife had a sternum break, we were really concerned because all of a sudden we're like, each one of us got discharged. My son got discharged, then my daughter got discharged, then I got discharged. And then we're waiting for Jordan to get discharged. Hers was longer, obviously, because of the break. Yeah. But so the nurse is like, well, you guys are gonna get released pretty soon. Like all of you guys will be able to go home. Mm-hmm. We're like, oh, okay, that's great. And then the doctor comes up. He's like, we need to check one last thing. And he told us what it was, and I don't remember the medical term for it, but basically what had happened is that when you get a sternum break, if it bruises or hurts the heart emits this liquid into the blood. And it's like a damaged heart, essentially. And they did one of the ways they can find out is through a blood test. So we need to do this blood test. We need to make sure that you don't have this liquid in your blood or whatever the correct term is. Yeah. And so by the grace of God, that didn't happen. Man. There was no damage to the heart. Yeah. Just a cracked sternum. So yeah, that was that. You know, that was crazy, bro. I remember just like. The way we got into the accident, it was raining. It was a very windy, rainy day, and we were driving up from Disneyland. So we went to Disneyland, got out of the park at like midnight or something like that, and then I had work the next day at 4 p.m. And so I told Jordan, I was like, instead of getting up at like 6 a.m., let's just drive overnight. Yeah. And so we get up. Get everybody in the car. We get up on the freeway. We're going up by 5, then we cut over to 80 East because I live over in that greater Sacramento area. Okay. And as we're on 80 East, all of a sudden, like I'm like nodding off, and it's wet. Yeah. It's wet. Yeah. And so I'm nodding off, and then what happens is Jordan and I are talking, and the last thing I remember before we essentially lost control is Jordan was like, I'm so proud of you for getting us home safe. And I was like, the next thing I remember, bro, is the car is out of, like, I'm sideways on the freeway. Wow. And so what ended up happening is I like, because of the nodding off, I wasn't asleep, but I was just, hitting the nods. Yeah,
we've all been there.
Yeah. And so, and I've actually fell asleep at the wheel before, like because of work. But it was different this time because I was having Jordan engage in conversation with me, try to keep me active. But so as we were driving, losing control, I look up and I'm like gripping the steering wheel and I just start screaming. Like we all start screaming. The kids were asleep because they slept overnight. Yeah. And as soon as we hit, it was just like smoke everywhere. The smell was intense, bro.
Yeah.
The smell was intense. Hit a divider on the freeway. Yeah, so we didn't hit anybody. Yeah. Thank God it was just us.
Yeah.
I would feel so bad if I was responsible for, somebody else.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, I made a vow to myself, I'm not driving like that anymore.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Because, dude, and like as soon as we hit, I like launched the door open, yanked off my seatbelt and got my son because he was on my side.
Yeah.
So I got him and he just squeezed on me like, those pictures of the koalas like squeezing on the tree.
Yeah.
Like that's what my son was doing to me, like just squeezing on. And Jordan was feeling weak. She couldn't get out of the car. So we didn't know. I looked over her and I was like, what the heck's going on? And all of a sudden I just see like blood coming out of her mouth. Sorry, I don't know if you have to like censor this or whatever.
That's okay.
But yeah, it's just, she ended up biting her tongue, cutting her tongue.
Got it.
But we thought originally like she bit off her tongue because it was like the whole mouth was red bloody.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I was pretty terrified at that point. Yeah. But so she couldn't get out.
Yeah.
A stranger came up, parked in front of us, and then another stranger behind us.
Got it.
And the stranger in front called 911. The one in behind also did, but once he figured out the other guy was, calling 911, he hung up. Yeah. And then the guy in front helped my wife out, and then the guy behind got my daughter out. And so my daughter this guy was a giant dude. He was like, I don't know, he's a bigger dude, and he was probably like 6'4", something like that, huge, big guy. Mm-hmm. And my daughter just like strapped around him like a koala. The sights I'm seeing, bro, are intense. My car's mangled. Yeah. My wife, I don't know what's going on with her. Yeah. I feel like I can't move my left arm. Yeah. And then I'm having a hard time breathing because my ribs are bruised.
Got it.
But my kids, by the grace of God, nothing happened other than some like burns from the seatbelt. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they were safe. Their car seats didn't fly out, nothing like that. Yeah. So that responsibility, bro, of a parent to protect your child really, it hit me hard. Yeah. It hit me really hard. And it was unfortunate how it happened. And it's like I keep going in my mind like if I could redo it. Yeah. I could redo it. I would never ever do that again.
Yeah, sure.
But made us stronger as a family. We overcame some hurdles. Yeah. Unfortunately, my wife is having some PTSD on the freeway, so she's seen a counselor about that, and she's seeing some breakthroughs. So it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah. I'm glad like I said, I'm sorry to hear that all that happened, but I'm glad that you guys are kind of on the other side of that now. Like, because even I know you're going to talk about the trailer stuff later, but like hearing that you guys have a place now. Yeah. Like I said. Everybody was healthy, she's recovering still, but getting necessary help. I mean, it's good that we're on the other side of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's wow. I didn't know. Again, it's crazy. This is like one of those things too. You never know what somebody's going through, right?
Yeah,
like, because
what does is
we use social media and stuff like that. We're like, oh, he was good.
Right.
Like highlights.
It's like, man, I would never know. Like I said. Yeah. So again, thank you for sharing that too. Like I said, That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was scary, and teach their own, right? Like you guys got stories you can share that makes you reevaluate everything you're doing in life.
Absolutely.
And so it doesn't have to be a crazy car accident, or it could be something worse, right? Sure. Could be a cancer diagnosis. I don't know. It's everybody deals with things differently, but it's how you come out of it, how you go through it, how you are in the midst of it, and where you come out after it. So. But I give all glory to God, like that. Absolutely, Jesus saved my life. Yeah. I'll take that to the grave.
Come on, for sure. Come on. The thing too about that is like, again, I've never been personally in some car accidents, but I've known some people who've been in car accidents and survived and things like that. Yeah. And like what you're saying about like with your wife about going back on the road. Yeah. It's just something like you would think. Like I remember, I've only been to like one true car accident, and that was like. I was coming down the Grapevine, coming down the Grapevine. If you got your foot off the brake, you zooming.
Yeah, oh yeah, bro.
So I'm in my Acura, I'm probably going about 80, 85. And I'm not doing nothing that everybody else is not doing. Like, I'm not like weaving anything, I'm just flowing them behind a car or whatever. Right. And anybody who's ever driven to LA through the Grapevine, like that first exit is crowded beyond belief. Everybody's trying to get on the same exit. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to get on that, I slowed down, I'm good, whatever. Yeah. So I hit the brake, the guy in front of me kind of brake checks me, like, burr. Yeah. So I like stop, and I'm like, y'all wildin'. So like he brake checks me, I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah. So after he gets off the brake, he guns it.
Yeah, takes off.
So I'm thinking like, oh snap. So like I speed up too. When I speed up, he brake checks me again. Skirt. So I brake. And then I by the time when I finished fully brake, I kind of rolled, and I rolled and literally beep, beep, hit the back of his car, and I'm like, so I pull over.
Right.
I pull over. He gets out. It's this guy sunglasses dude kind of buff up top, 5 o'clock shadow.
Oh my god.
He drives he drives an Infiniti. He's and then so I get out. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, hey, rolled into you. Let's look at the damage and see that, whatever. Yeah, you were speeding back there.
If you don't.
I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, man, you were speeding back there. I'm like, whatever, bro. Why are we talking about that? Are you a police officer or something?
Right.
He's like, you need to drive better. Mind you, we got in a car accident because you brake checked me, not because of anything else.
Exactly.
And I'm like, all right, we get insurance out, whatever. He goes, we look at it. I take a picture. He's like, yeah, you damaged my bumper. Mind you, I wish I had to still have the pictures. His license plate had a dent in it. I was like, that's literally what the damage was. And my car had no damage at all.
Right.
Or no visible damage at least. Yeah. And he's just like, don't worry about it. Let the insurance handle it. Let the insurance handle it. I'm like, for sure. Okay, whatever. So I'm driving to Moreno Valley. So I have a long drive still. So I'm driving there. Maybe about an hour before I get to Moreno Valley, I get a phone call from the insurance company. Hello? Yeah. What's going on? They're like, yeah, he said he got bodily harm, blah, 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 this, that, whatever. I'm like, how is it the case if I'm literally driving my car right now?
Yeah.
And I saw a picture of everything. She's like, where are you at? I'm in LA. She's like, oh, they do that all the time, man. They do that all the time, man. She's like, I don't know if she even told me this, but she was basically telling me stuff off the record. She's like, yeah, that's what they do out there. They get in car accidents, they get the money, it's people, that's how people can make money out there. She's like, yeah, he probably has a friend who's a doctor who said that he's injured. I'm like, yeah, because if he's injured, that's crazy. Because I'm like, bro, I literally, it's like, you ever rolled, you do a rolling stop at a stop sign? That's the speed I was going into his bumper. Yeah. I'm like, whatever. So, yeah. But after that, I remember you would think something like that wouldn't have me disheveled. But got back on the freeway, I'm like, man, now I'm looking out for everything. I'm
White knuckles, right?
Look at 3 cars ahead,
That's real, man.
So yeah, it's crazy how the human brain can work like that. You're like, oh, that wasn't that big a deal. We survived, right? It was nah.
Dude, yes. I mean, same deal. I know we're on the topic of car accidents. The worst one that I've ever been in has been, I was dropping off somebody in at the airport. Yeah. It was super early in the morning. So it's 4 a.m., 3:30 a.m. or 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So I'm driving back, and I don't know if y'all know where you're getting off on the Natomas. I forgot what that exit is. I can't remember.
Truxell?
Not Truxell. It's Garden Highway. Yeah, that was that one. And I just see something in the middle of the road. Could not, I'm going fast, but my headlights finally catch what the image is. Run I almost hit it like a bump. And it was my new Kia too, and so my antifreeze thing, whatever it broke, everything just I checked it. I was everything was just coming down. I was like, dang,
just busted the radiator probably.
Man,
that's crazy.
So I'm looking around. I'm seeing everybody else, 2 other cars stopped. And I'm like, oh, they must have also hit this, this object as well. What I ended up finding out was that was actually ended up being a dead body that I hit. It was absolutely crazy.
That's crazy.
And the reason why I knew that was because one of the guys that were in front of me, he walked up to me. He was like, "Man, see, that's why you can't be sleeping on the road like that, crossing the road like that." I said, "What are you talking about?" He was just like, I said, "But that's a guy that I just hit him," and I was like. And the thing about it, y'all, and then
I can't even fathom that,
dude. It was a trip, and I'm just gonna say this: God was just protecting my eyes because he was decapitated.
Oh,
but I couldn't see the full image. You could see the silhouette, of the body, and also of the head somewhere farther along the distance.
Yeah.
When I tell you, my boy came and got me, got picked up. When I had to tell my insurance. I was stuttering. At first I was okay, but in my head I was and I was stuck, man. I was stuck.
How do I even say this?
Yeah. I was also accidentally discriminatory towards the people that picked up my truck too, because I was I called the place and the guy was super nice, and then but it was like owned by like Latino brothers, you know, and so he's like, yeah, just call back later, you'll be fine. I called back and it's a different guy, and I was like, oh, like there's another guy that works there, like can I talk to him? He's like, well, which guy? Like wasn't helpful at all, and if you're going through like some trauma, just have somebody else do it. Because I was like, well, I don't know, like it was another like Latin brother. I don't know if that was your dad or not. What do you mean by that? And I was like, I started like freaking out. Like I was like, oh crap! Like my boy had to like take my phone from me. He's like, look, we're just looking for the car. This, that, and the fourth. But in my head, I can't even process this conversation because from what I just experienced. So I feel you. Everything that y'all shared, like I mean, it straight up stayed with you. It stayed with me. But what I did, I ended up like sharing with like people because my usual thing is trying to be strong, you know, and just be like, well, that just happened and I'm just gonna move on. But I was practicing something different. I was like, if I can give this to like somebody, then this will help me process it.
That's a good point. You're holding on to it.
Right. Yeah.
It's funny too. It's funny that you brought that up because that reminded me of a story, and I will get off this, but like there was a story about my family's a drink family, facts, and I'm like I'm not gonna drink and drive. Like if my sister wants to go out and drink, I tell her, hey, listen, I'll go with you. I want to drink. I'll be your DD, or you just call me. I'll pick you up, whatever. That's always how we had that connection. So it was like one of those things. Like she turned 21. She's like, I want to drink with my brother. I'm like 21. And I'm like, I'll go out with you, like, but I'm not about to go get faded with you. That's crazy. I'm like, your older brother, like, if something happened, I gotta be on alert.
Right.
So we go, and Fresno is a place called Tower District. Anybody who knows. And we're out there, have a good time. Everything's good. It's late, like super duper late. And I'm like, all right, man, it's time for us to get up out of there. And she's like, okay, cool. We get out. Oh my God, I had so much fun. I'm driving. I'm like, man, I'm trying to get to the house, but I'm tired. Like, you know, it's debauchery outside. Like I'm driving and then so I'm literally like probably 2-3 minutes from the house. And to get to my mom's house is like multiple ways, but this is one way where you turn off the main highway, and there's a roundabout, big roundabout, and you gotta go around the roundabout, and then you go through the neighborhood before you get to the house. I go to turn on this roundabout. There's one car that's pulled over on the far left, and there's like debris everywhere. And it's gonna sound like a movie. I'm sorry, because he's been through this before. I've explained stuff to him, but I pull up. There's debris everywhere. Lady pulled over on the side, flat lights on. I pull over, I get out. I'm like, is everything good? She goes, car accident, I gotta go. Drives off. I'm like, I'm not supposed to. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, so okay. This whole time, my sister has to go pee. She keeps saying, I gotta go pee.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, well, I can't get through because there's a bunch of debris. I'm not trying to pop nobody's tires over there. I'm not in my car. So I get out and I look. It's like a infinity course again, and the full I have a picture too. The bumper is completely obliterated off the vehicle. The hood is peeled back. Sorry I spit. But all four. Think of the all four wheels. The driver wheel completely gone. Whoa. Completely gone. Rim is obliterated. Completely gone. Radiators leaking. It looks like a movie scene, bro. Like pieces everywhere. And I look in the car. Nobody's in the car. Car's completely empty. The windshield is blew up. And all you see is a phone ringing, and it's his girl. It's like the dude's girlfriend, because it's you can see the pet name on there. Try to answer it, can't answer it. I'm trying to answer it, can't answer it. Man. So I'm talking to my sister. I'm like, dang, this is why you don't drink and drive, bro. This could have been you. This could have been you. Yeah. So we're she's like, oh, can we hurry up? I gotta go pee. Yeah. As she's saying that, I hear oh my. I turn around. There's a dude in the middle of the street. Oh wow. Blood come out his face and stuff. Bro. And he just sitting there. And I'm like, at first I thought it was body. I was like, my God. I'm about to see a person whose body. I walk up and he's, I'm like, are you good, bro? Are you good, bro? He's like, my stomach hurt. And I'm like, what the? So we call 911. 911 come, the police come, everything, whatever. And they won't let us leave. Because They're like, well, how did you come across? I'm like, I'm just trying to go home, bro. I saw this. I didn't want to leave him there. The other person left him there. I'm just trying to make sure he's good. Whatever. So like while the police are like kind of like going over everything, I like grab his phone and I use Siri to call his mom. I'm like, call mom. Yeah. And then I answered. I was like, I don't want to be weird. Your son just got in a car accident, and they're gonna take him to the hospital. I just want to let you know because if it was me, I would hope somebody would do this to my mom instead of you like not knowing where he's at all night, whatever. She's like, oh my God, oh, where are you? To where I'm at, whatever. Yeah. So after I do that, mind you, my sister has to go pee. Yeah. This is how my sister's deeply insensitive. She's like, oh my God, the police are here. Can we go now? Can we go now? I'm like, bro, there's a dude on the ground body right now. She's like, I have to go pee. You don't understand. I hope we can go. God. And I'm like, I'm talking to the officer. I'm giving them all the details. She literally comes up, big conversation. Listen, if I go pee in the field, will I get arrested for for public indecency? And he's like, just go pee. Right. Yeah. She's like, okay. Yeah. So she goes, like, opens the door, goes pee and stuff, whatever. Yeah. As I'm telling the story, all you hear is, in the neighborhood that's right there, boo, 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 boo. Oh. Swear to God. Swear to God. And I'm just like, and the ICE officer go, oh, I'm gonna stay here. Yeah. We gonna go, blah, blah, blah. Right. So, like, one dude stay there, other people drive off, whatever. And I'm like, can I go? They're like, yeah, you can go. And I dip off, ambulance came. Or I'm going back to my car, the ambulance came, take the guy off, and as I'm getting in my car, starting up, waiting for my sister to like get back in the car, the mom pulls up, and she's like, where is he? I'm like, honestly, they just took him to the ambulance. The ambulance just picked him up. He just went to the hospital. Like, I don't, that's all you can do. Yeah. And the reason I bring up the story is because, like you said, like after, like I'm in the whole moment, I'm calm, collected, I'm good. My sister wild, I'm like, whatever. My sister goofball, she not even like she incoherent, she just whatever. Man, I got home. And I remember I was sitting there trying to go to sleep, and I think I said, why did that feel normal, dog? Like, that just felt like crazy that felt normal to everybody in that situation. Like, the lady drove off, the gunshots, they're like, oh, here we go again. And I'm just like, this is so like, and I remember like for a couple weeks, I was like, the picture of him like laying there was just burning my brain. I was like,
bro, that's gotta be scary, bro.
Yeah. Oh, bro, it felt like a movie. Like it literally felt like a movie. I was like, that felt like if I could recreate that would be a movie scene for sure.
Right there, gotcha.
That's crazy. But with that,
we promise we not trauma bonded right now.
I promise you. That, like I said, I did want to tap into chopping in with you. Sure. You shared that you recently about to start getting to the housing process. What is that like?
That's been smooth as of late. I mean, this year there was a program that I ended up doing, and to where they like basically like give you like some money to give like to put towards your first home.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that we basically have to use the money by 2026, and so we were using this year just to pay off debt and get some money up and whatnot. But yeah, that's been exciting. Like I've been working with like a financial coach on like how do I get my credit, because my credit ain't looking too hot. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's crazy that you bring up like $30,000 in debt. I was literally $30,000 in debt for a scam, but that's but that's like a side note conversation. That's why I was like,
this is kind of the same thing.
Man, look, at least he got something out of it. That's what I guess.
He did not get anything out of it.
Wait, maybe praise the Lord, I got a car out of it.
Right. Okay.
The trailer is not.
The trailer's tough.
Okay, man. We gonna hop over there, and we gonna talk offline about mine. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, the process has been really good just because of the program that I did. Okay. The CEO, like, I actually have a meeting with her this upcoming Friday, and it's just to talk about, okay, so how do we get access to the money? Yeah. When should we start looking? Because me and my wife have been looking, and we're like, oh, we want this house. I'm like, okay, if we want to do a bid on something, we don't have the money right now. Like, how can we get access to the money that I ended up earning from the workshop or the class that I did for the program? So that in itself, it's still in the beginning stages. I haven't gone through escrow yet, even though I know a little bit about it because of the class. So that's been, you walk with a different type of confidence when you have like a little bit of info on it. Absolutely. But even just, just gotta be mindful about inspections, and there's different type of inspections too that I'm like, okay, well, how much is this gonna be? And so those are the things that are in the back of my mind. Yeah. But other than that, the process has been going pretty pretty solid, at least for right now. I know it's gonna start ramping up because like, drop that bid, see if, you know, you can close the deal, got sent to escrow, then boom, okay, make sure that you do your inspections, and make sure that you're doing an inspection on a day like where you're actually there, you have to be there. Like it's a whole thing. And then also trying to choose a realtor as well. Mm-hmm. I have one in mind, and then my wife has somebody else in mind, and so we gotta make our decision from there too. Because so there's
options.
I didn't actually know that, you know, there's certain realtors that specialize in different areas and only have certain availability and things to consider. Like, and do you like want to have like a good experience, or do you just want to get straight to it? So. Yeah, it's just been, I'm still in the beginning stages. Nice. Just wanted to give like a quick update, but I'm excited to be a homeowner. It's a lot of dreams. I told my wife initially when we were like, because I got into the program, but I didn't like fully let her know. And as a married man, Joe, you probably already know, like, hey, we supposed to be on one accord. But I just saw the opportunity, and I was like, if I only got to show up for 8 weeks for this program and we get 20 grand, like, I might have to do my executive order as husband.
I mean, that's a win.
Man, exactly.
Yeah.
But all that being said, I just wanted to say that the thing that I was telling my wife was like, man, I'm tired of renting. Mm-hmm. The thing about getting like something that you own, like there's so much dreaming that you can do inside of it. You can do renovations. I mean, you can get, you know, and we'll probably talk about it, you know, later on, but like the house appreciates in value. Mm-hmm. Like you can add stuff to it. Like you don't have to worry about, you know, paying rent and then you get nothing at the end of the year. At least you're paying towards something. So that's where I'm at currently, brother.
Yeah, that's a good point too that people don't understand. At least I've learned this from like growing up. Grandparents had a house. Yeah. Mama now has a house. And this like knowing people who had homes is like, even like my boss's daughter, her and her husband moved to Portland. They bought a house in Washington, and they were just talking about like, you buy a little bucket house, you fix it up a little bit, you sell it, you make your money, and then you buy the next house. He said that's just how it goes until you get into a house where you're like, this is it. Yeah. And I know like sometimes, especially how we're sold on it, like our first house got to be it. It's got to be that. Sure. It's got to be the forever house. But it's like, if you're only making X amount of dollars, or you can only have this much amount of money, you can only do what you do. So like programs like that are dope because it gives you opportunity. Especially right now, like I came to Sacramento thinking like, it's gonna be like pretty competitive. Right. Nah, compared to Fresno, I'm like, ooh wee. Man, right. Like, so if you want something nice, right? Like I'm like, there's some pretty steep prices and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you like on that like what's the sacrifice you had to make to like, cause like I know my mom, we had to move back into my grandma's house before she bought her house. Yeah. Like what's that process like? Like what's the things you had to give up?
Man, one of the biggest blessings that happened was that we got to move in with my wife's grandparents. Mm-hmm. But the biggest sacrifice is, privacy. Yeah. Privacy, and then you're going into their house. So you're trying to like assimilate to like how they do things. Yeah. I actually had to sit down with them and actually have a meeting with them to be like, hey, like this is what we can do. This is what we can, because you know when you're got a younger body, they're like, well seasoned, right? Mm-hmm. And so they need help with like a few other things, like when it comes to like the cooking, maybe reaching up. I just had to help with my grandmother-in-law in regards to like putting up some photos and stuff like that. But but then you also have to deal with some of their mannerisms. Mm-hmm. Not all the time are they in a good mood, or they're bickering with one another, or even maybe some passive aggressive comments and stuff like that. And so I've had to sacrifice just privacy, and also kind of like my ability just to turn off. There are some times, like we do have a room that we can go in, but like the ability to just go home and you're like, come on TV, chilling and whatnot. But as I come in, I have to be mindful as I come in. How I'm coming down the street too, even though I'm, blasting music.
Yeah, I heard that Hovey all the way down the street. I turn that down.
So that I would say those parts. We also had to sacrifice room as well. So now me and my wife are in a room in a queen size bed, but it's like the hottest room in the house. Oh no! Hottest room in the house. I tell you not. Even the grandparents don't know why. Hottest room in the house, and that's where we're staying at, and we had to downsize from having having the I don't know if you saw our spot last time, but it was basically like a 1-bedroom, but it was like also had like a secret like closet area where like it could be a whole nother room, and then there was like the kitchen, then we had the washer and dryer. It was a good setup that my wife had found, because I moved in with her after we had gotten married, and so, but now it's definitely like closed in, and so there's just other things that I have to consider and be mindful of. But those were like some of the sacrifices that I had to end up making. Wow. But yeah, I mean, those sacrifices, I just see them as investment. Yeah. That's it. Invest in the time, invest in the season right now, because at one point in time, like my pride would have gotten in the way, because many times I told my wife, I was like, I don't really want to stay with like your grandparents. Like I want to be us. I really want, and it's no hate. I just don't want to stay with anybody, because I just want us to be able to live on my own. Stay on my own. Man. But like, I was like, Anthony, do you have like an answer once this lease is up? And I was like, nope. And my wife is bringing this up to me. I said, is this going to be a time where I'm going to be letting my pride get in the way? That's how I lost 30K. Literally that memory came in, and I was like, that's just my wife is trying to help me. So let me just go ahead and hey wife, I think that you got something. Let's go ahead and lean into it.
But have you, can you relate to that, having to make sacrifices? It's always interesting because you guys are both married, so I wanted to pick your brain on that. Have you had to make sacrifices in that way as well? Especially you got 2 children, so I imagine you got a lot of sacrifices to make. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, I was on staff at a church in West Sac. I was a youth pastor, and we didn't know this at the time, but found out after I resigned that there had been some embezzlement. So they were stealing, I think, a couple $100,000 from the church, and that took away from the pastor's salary. So my salary got cut in half. I was full time. Me and my wife were doing really well. We were living by Sac State, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and I mean that was our first place. It was a lot of room for just 2 people. We ended up getting pregnant. And then I think in the same week that we found out we got pregnant, we found out that we were going to get put on I was going to get put on part-time. Mm-hmm. And so at the time, this is 2017, so, $1,450 or whatever I was paying for rent, that was a lot of money for me. Yeah. So right now, that'd be like a blessing,
for real.
Right.
I think I paid $1,450 right now. Let me take your lease over.
Let me granddaddy here. You know what I'm saying? I got you.
Yeah, so, I mean, back then, like I said, it was a lot of money, and then my paycheck got cut in half, essentially, And at that time, I was, this was a while ago, I can disclose it, I was making like 45 or 47 grand. So at the time, when it got cut in half, I was, I'm not paying anything, And so having to humble myself and be like, go to my pastor, I'm like, Pastor, I don't have money. I can't pay my rent. I can barely buy food. And so the church would subsidize. So whatever I could pay, I paid, and then church would come in and help out with that. But what ended up happening is after our lease was up, they wanted to raise our rent like $200, and I'm like, I'm not paying. I can't. And so we ended up having to sacrifice moving in with my parents. And so I moved into my old bedroom that I lived at before I got married. Brought my wife in, and my wife was pregnant, and so we that's where our first baby came into the world, and she stayed with us in that room. We were the 3 of us in that little room. I mean, it was a decent sized room. It wasn't anything crazy by any means, but I mean, we had a dresser, we had the crib, we had our queen bed, we had our mounted TV on the wall. Like it was a dream, honestly, because it was just the baby was coming. God was just blessing our family, and it opened up doors for me to work at another place as well as alongside the church as well. But that initial sacrifice of saying, I gotta move it back into my parents' house, dude. Oh yeah, I didn't want to have to do that again. But I mean, my parents were so accommodating; they didn't even charge us anything. So it was a major blessing.
Absolutely. That's the crazy thing too, how. Because I've had my own same story. Moved in with a roommate, didn't work out. And I've told you the story. The roommate, basically, long story short, roommate wasn't we initially went in on with it. My mom put her name on it, and we're gonna split it. Easy peasy, no really nothing, no it's only one way to cut the pie. He brings someone else in, and you would think they bring a third person in, the rent would go down. I still was paying what I was paying my half, and I don't know what their agreement was. Long story short, we got to a point where he wasn't paying the electric bill correctly. Instead of paying the amount they allotted, he was just putting money on it And it like built up to a point where it was like $1,500. And he came to me and was like, "Man, what we gonna do about this?" I was like, "I don't know what we about to do." I said, "I didn't give you my side of the money, but I don't know what you want me to do." Yeah. Every time the bill came in, I gave you the half and said, we're good. Yeah. So he was like, "Well, this and that. I don't know what we about to do, whatever." And I had to end up moving in with my mom. And I remember, like, in the moment, like, this is like defeat. Like, I moved back. I got to move into a little small room that I'm not used to. I'm like, I used to have my friends over, do whatever I want, slap the music, this, that, whatever. Now I got to be, what I'm saying, can't even turn the AC on what I want it to be. Like, but, when I share the story with some other people who don't have that luxury of with their parents, I'm like, dang, I'm over here seeing this as like a sacrifice or like a shortcome. But I'm like, dang, this really, like, you really think about it, this really is a blessing because if I couldn't know my mom this happened, man, what would I be?
Yes, well said. Yeah, well said, bro.
So I just think it's interesting, like, that, because again, it's still a sacrifice. I'm not taking away the sacrifice. No. It's still a sacrifice, especially when you're used to, like, tasting it, like freedom. Right. Going back, like, man, I got rules.
Yeah, man.
That was my biggest thing. I had to go back into my parents' house. I just left there, like 11 months ago. I don't want to have to, go back into what they got going, but it was a different type of respect that they had for me. So that I was grateful for that. They were very gracious in that aspect of treating me as a individual with autonomous decision making capabilities. So, but there was different things that I had to reform into to fit kind of their thing. Yeah, and there was no touching the AC, right?
Man, that was fun.
Yeah. So
that's like the one. That's the thing that always kills my mom. My mom is like, I think she anemic, dog. Like, she always got the heater on, dog. And it's just like...
It's like 80 degrees all the time.
But mind you, she, like, got the heater on and she wearing, like, T-shirts and stuff like that. I'm like, well, I'm like, if you cold, put some hoodies on. You know what I'm saying? Wear a blanket. Like, what we do? She like, it's not doing that. I'm in my room like, no, it's giving, like thick, like, holes. I'm like, I got the thing tied around my head, no shirt on, I'm just drenched. I'm like, man. I had a small room, so the small room gets heated quick. So I'm just like, Mom, please. She's like, don't touch it. So like when I got my apartment, I'm struggling. 63. And then you get the first month's electricity.
Right.
72. I did want to get into because like we're talking about sacrifices, there's like a trend going around about people like kind of like, we live in a social media age. We all got an iPhone, and these iPhones are kind of like these like end-all, like I can do everything I want with my iPhone. I can go on the internet, I can read a book, I can look up Google Maps, I can pay my rent, I can do everything on this one device. And a lot of people have they feel like they can't get anything done still, nonetheless. And we can relate to this because we do like creative work, and there's nothing worse than being distracted when you have to do creative work. So this is a new trend going around. I don't know if you guys seen it, called like decentralizing your life from your phone. And I just wanted to share with you guys because really just get your guys' like thoughts on it, especially like you guys are kind of Anthony's also creative. He does music. He did music in the past. So I just want to get your thoughts on like do you feel like with your phone you're distracted? Like do you like when people are talking about like, oh, I can't get off social media, I'm doom scrolling, like do you guys ever deal with that? Or
Absolutely. I do. Yeah. I do personally.
Agreed. That's why I don't know. I have to actually get rid of Instagram like every single week because I'll hop on there, and even though I have like a mission of just like, hey, I just need to make 3 comments on some of these church posts just so I can get more hits. People. I'm like, let me just see who I'm following and let me see they posts because I follow like different people, and sometimes I follow like, oh, this one did it like a comic, and so I'm gonna read the comic. I'm just like, I need to see what the feed talking about, and then I look at the feed like it becomes a whole thing. It becomes a whole thing. So most definitely doom scrolling is.
Has it like affect your guys' productivity, or do you guys feel like I catch myself and I can like nip it in the bud?
When I'm working, I definitely had several instances where I'm like, I need to refer to my phone, and then all of a sudden I'm opening Instagram or TikTok, and I'm like, and I catch myself like 5-10 minutes later, I'm like, what am I doing? I don't want to watch this phone right now. But there's times where like if I really got I don't even know what the phrase to use, but if I really got to get down and focus, I can put my phone away and hop on my computer, do what I need to do.
Yeah. Sure.
But it's so easy. So like it's all right here. I got a camera.
Yeah.
I can record audio. Yeah. I can take pictures. Right. I can post on social media. I can
take notes,
email, take care of banking, everything. Right.
Everything.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things where in a pinch, if I gotta go quick, I'm just taking my phone. Right. But if I think it out. If I want to, have some good pictures, I'll bring my camera. Like one of your notes was saying, bring a real camera or a book, right? Like, I would much rather that because I don't know, like, it's just that I think it does something in our brain where we train ourselves to always go to this thing. Like it's not our savior or anything, but it's like, it's our go-to, it's our safe place, And so disconnecting from that, I think is really good. And personally, for me, I had the hardest time. I'll be the first to admit it. I had the hardest time trying to get off my phone and just be a normal human.
What's the app that you guys feel like you struggle with the most?
Instagram for me. It used to be TikTok, but I got off TikTok because it was just too much. It was too much.
Gotcha. Got you. Instagram and YouTube. And the crazy thing, I love that you ended up bringing up decentralization. Hopefully, I said the word right. Was because I can do, when I remove it off my phone, I'm like so much more productive, but but I can still have it on my laptop.
Exactly.
And so it's almost kind of like the thing about like with me and my phone, like I'll be in my bed, I got my snacks, everything, and it's just like, just endorphin mode, bro.
The little dope.
Right. But like when I have my laptop, like I'm up and I'm engaged and whatnot, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop myself and I'm gonna limit myself. But like, but when it comes to like the phone, like I would say Instagram and YouTube. Yeah.
I feel you on that. I'm definitely I'm with you too. 3 for 3 Instagram, but also Snapchat.
Oh really?
I love Snapchat. I used to be. I was on Snapchat like day one.
Okay.
And it's less like the whatever general feed they have, even though they have you can follow your people like Duke Dennis and stuff like that. Like I follow him because I like Duke Dennis. He cracks me up. Him and Kai.
Right.
But on that you can do that so they can post to their day, whatever. You can see what they're doing, whatever. But the Instagram and Snapchat, especially I still got a whole bunch of my high school friends on there, so I'm like, what they up to? What they doing? I'm post my own thing. But the big thing with the decentralizing your phone is because you made a good point with the laptop. I was thinking back on it okay, social media's been around for a minute, and we all grew up in an area when social media first came around. I'm like, I was never addicted to MySpace. One day of the week. MySpace, I used to be on there. I would curate my little, my little page and put my best friends and stuff on there, my top friends. But I never felt I need to I'm addicted to it. Right. But when you brought up you go on social media on your laptop, I'm like, that makes sense. We had the house computer. If I want to get on MySpace, I gotta get on, I gotta turn the phone off, because the dial-up gotta come on, and after a while, you're like, okay, I'm tired, I just saw everybody feed, I didn't message everybody, I need to message back, they messaged me back yet, so I'm gonna get off the phone, I'm gonna get off the computer for the day.
Right, that's it.
And I feel now with this, especially because the feed is no longer just our friends, it's anybody, it's just constant, on TikTok, when I'm on there and that little thing's you're scrolling again, I immediately man, go ahead. I'm not about to listen to that. You ain't holding no space right now in my brain. I know I need to take a break, but I don't care. I don't even know what time it is right now. But
oh my gosh,
I actually been practicing it, so I brought some stuff to show y'all, because it's funny, because when I sat down, I was like, what are the things that I do most on my phone? And I take pictures, social media, obviously, music, and reading. So this is how I've been decentralizing my phone. These are all the little devices. Oh, and notes. I take my notes.
There we go,
I don't have my journal though. So these are all my little items that I brought to decentralize my phone. And it's interesting, when I had it on the table, thinking about okay, my phone does all these different things, but you talk about this, you go look at a note, I'm gonna switch my music up, and I go and I see a notification, let me check that. And now I'm on Instagram, and I'm like, I want to see what they post on TikTok. And then I found now I'm down the rabbit hole 20 minutes when really I just went to go change the song because I didn't feel like listening to 2 Chainz right now. And with that, I was just thinking about it, doing this, I'm now, like, it seems crazy. Like, now I carry all these things. But I always have a backpack anyway, so I'm tripping on it. But I'm like, this is like, I've been doing it for a week. But this has probably been like I would say the most productive week, but the most like peaceful. Because like if I'm listening to music on my this is iPod Touch.
Man, shout out.
Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know about this. Fifth generation, baby.
Right.
And on here, I got my music on here. So when I'm listening to music, if I want to hear the song, all I can do literally is like, I got apps on here, but fifth generation iPod, bro, we ain't doing nothing. We ain't doing nothing. So I just listen to the music, and I found myself like, if I'm doing something, I'm more engaged in it. So like with the book, if I'm reading, I can't see a notification. I can't do nothing. I'm just reading with this. I'm just focused, and with this, if I want to take a picture, I just. I got this little disp. I gotta be a little bougie. I got not even bougie, a little dispo camera.
That's not bad.
I got a real camera, but it's like something fun about this, like little raggedy pictures.
Yep.
Say cheese.
On point.
And with that, like, I wanted to bring, like, how do you feel like, because it's always a tough one. I've seen many videos about people getting rid of it, like getting like decentralizing their phone, but is this something that you feel like is like feasible for you guys? Like, what do you guys talking about how you struggle with the social medias? I know you say you delete it and you just probably put the phone away. Like, is that just what it has to be? Like, I just have to set the boundaries, like kind of like the Bible said, like you gotta don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing and stuff like that. Is it like one of those things, or like how do y'all feel about like when it comes to like this almost you could say like addiction that comes to the phone? Feels like
it is honestly. I think discipline goes a long way, right? Because you can have the knowledge, you can have the know-how, but if you're not actually doing it, you don't have the discipline to get it done. It doesn't matter, right? So for some people, it takes them tossing their phone out to actually get stuff done. I think for me, my lack of discipline has led me to this space that I'm in, right? Because and then it unfortunately leads out to other areas of my life. Because if I'm not taking care of the things I need to for work, then I'm going to be behind at work. So then I'm behind in family now. I'm behind in friends. I'm behind whatever else, right? And so I think for me, the biggest thing is when I notice it, I have to immediately cut it off, right? So if I'm 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes down that rabbit hole, like you're saying, of scrolling, as soon as I like catch myself, it's okay. This needs to stop because I got other things to pay attention to. But I think there's great things that come out of it for sure. Like if you can allocate time to get things done and allocate time for your Instagram, for your YouTube, for whatever it is you're doing, right? I think that's really key. But the thing is, unfortunately, in our society, like we live and die by this thing. Like I got little cousins, bro, that got phones and do stuff that I don't even know. What are you doing? Like how do you do that? Like, I'm just blown away. And so, for me, I didn't grow up with a phone. I didn't get a phone until I was like 13, and it was one of those little slide phones, right, with a QWERTY keyboard, right? And then like the next generation, like I'm like 5 or 6 years older than my sister, and her first phone was an iPhone. And I'm like, the difference between the iPhone and my little dumb phone that had no internet, just text and talk, right? It's a different generation. They grew up with different challenges, right? And so I have to make these decisions now for myself so that I don't let my kids fall into that trap and that cycle. Because the last thing I want to do is lead my kids into that, they see dad on their phone, they see mom on their phone. And bro, that hits me hard. And it's like I was talking to you earlier, like at the end of the night, you just feel like, I failed as a dad, or I failed as a whatever, fill in the blank, right? So I think, sorry to go on my tangent, but just to discipline yourself. Because if you don't have discipline, you are not going to be doing anything. You're going to be just doing whatever comes in your mind. Because discipline is what gets you in the gym, right? Discipline is what gets you to get off those things you need to get off of, and to create those relationships you need to, and kind of bring you into the person you need to be. Because again, knowledge is one thing, but if you're not applying it to your life, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing.
That's a good point. That's wrong. Especially the discipline part, like, because what you said, we can talk about the phone, but discipline is bigger. Like, it's, if you're not disciplined, like you say, you're gonna eat what you're not supposed to eat. It's gonna be many things that you're not supposed to do that you just gonna do because you're like, you just got weak boundaries, I guess, and that's the best way to explain it. So I think it's a good point, like that, like having that discipline. I know like I've seen people like, do you feel like the manufacturers who like make this stuff, like the social media networks, the phone companies, like do you feel like they should be like implementing stuff? I know iPhone did the little like the weekly time thing where it tells you, lets you know like, dang, I put what? And like that helps people. But like, is that should they have to do, like, is that what we have to do going forward? Where it's like, these companies who make these objects that we all have are going to have to put fail-safes in place to like prevent us. Like I've heard some things going on where it's like, if you're in certain areas, like they ban social media for kids under an age.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, wow. Like, I mean, it sounds like intrusive, but it's like at the end of the day, like what other way can we do it if we understand that this thing can be like potentially, you know, especially to the point where I see like older people, like, you know, every time I go to like a tire shop or something like that, and the other person like, they slapping too, they volume be on 99. Like, I'm like, what am I? It's always something
lacking or something.
Right. And it's always like some like, it's not even the good reels. It'd be like the you know,
low
like
qualities.
Yeah, like the ones where it's like the person's doing something on the side.
Yeah.
And then it's like the video talking. I'm like, why are you watching those ones? Let me look at my notes.
Well, can I say something to that? Nah, man. Yeah, Joel, you hit it right on the head because I call it to be the Target effect. Like, if you ain't got no plan going into Target, they're gonna make a plan for you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Man, deals. Right, exactly. You start, if you go in there and you're like, if you don't stick to the mission of why you went in there, they gonna make a mission for you.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you coming out with like 1,000 things, and I think it's the same deal with just with social media or just like not decentralizing yourself because if, like I was saying, like my plan in regards of hopping on Instagram now has to come with an intention of like, okay, why am I doing this? That's how my boy like runs his business. Like he stays on social media, keeps his Instagram on. Hey, let me add you, this, that, and the fourth. But is he on there like that? Like, no, like he's not. Like he said, like I'm using this as a tool for me to do my business. And I think that's why, very similar, I have to just cut it off because I know that I'm not using this intentionally. I used to, my Instagram is still like Zeba Beats on there, and I used to like post my music, and that's where like I kept it on there, but I stopped doing it, and now I've just been, you know, just on the feed.
Honestly.
Yeah. Even like YouTube as well, like, you know, I watch different things. Some things on like music, but a lot of things has just been like a lot of like gamer YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah. Because that's what I like to do. But I also noticed I was like watching these videos, you know, while at work. Sometimes I would also watch like sermons and also like other like podcast stuff. And even though it was good for me, it was just like my energy in regards to like focus wise wasn't like on like my task of like at work.
That's the point.
So I had to like limit myself. I'm like, okay, you can keep your Spotify, bro, but you got to get rid of these other things because you can't have the visual too. Like you got the visual and sound at the same time. Like you're not getting nothing. That's it.
The overconsumption gets you.
Right.
It really does.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, do you feel like there's, because like, you know, do you feel like, because like you're saying, you're listening, with your experience is interesting because you're not listening, you're not like watching some random video, like you're watching a sermon or a positive video or something like that on YouTube and stuff like that, but you still feel like you're getting distracted. Like, it's like, you know, we talk about the negatives. Is there like positives in having like something like this now, like having a phone, like, and do those positives like outweigh the negatives? Because I think about something like email on my phone, like. You know, every time I've been on the road and I get an email that's an important email, then I'm like, oh, I'm glad I got this email right now because if not, I'm like getting home at like 5, you're like, what? I didn't like my residue. Like, what do you really?
No, that's how I felt just Sunday. I had an email that I really need to respond to from DMV, and I'm like, oh, okay. They emailed me on a Sunday of all days. And I'm like, okay, I need to get back to this real quick. Just want to make sure I'm not, you know, being overcharged or whatever. But it's I feel it. There's some good that can come out of it, but I mean, I hate to be redundant, but it goes back to discipline. Like if it's good, like too much of a good thing oftentimes can be a bad thing. Like that gets overplayed, you know. But it's true. It's true in the sense of these materialistic things that we have. You know, it could be good for a second, and then all of a sudden you're just going down the rabbit hole.
That that's why I'm gonna get to the point where I'm get a second phone. When I get a second phone, I'm deleting social media because that's the only thing, bro. Like, so I got another thing.
Okay.
I don't have it over here, but I'll just show y'all the app. So I have this thing called the Brick app. I don't know if y'all heard of the Brick app.
No.
So this is my cheat code because I hate deleting stuff and having to re-download it. I just don't got that spirit in me. Okay. Especially when I got to log back into stuff. Like, I just don't got that in me. But on here, you can I'll brick it real quick. You can brick your phone. Okay. And what it does is it just blocks out the apps for you. So if I go to Instagram, and it's it's based on because iPhone has the feature where you have the time and then you can oh, you're out of time, but you can put the code in and keep going. So one more minute, come on, man, I'm about to get 2 more hours out of this. So I found this, and it's been helpful a lot because the only apps that are open is my Bible, Kindle, the Maps. Yeah. Maps is the one that I almost blew. At first I didn't have Maps, and I got on the rush. Oh my god. Yeah, you got that app, man. What makes the app cool is that in my bag I have a brick that you have to tap the phone to the brick to unbrick it. So it's not like it's not like I go back to the app and unbrick it. I have to tap it. I have to go to the physical brick.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So that's why I had the little warning hey, you bricking your phone. You can't unbrick it till you get back to the house. Yeah. So I've been carrying it with me because I do a lot of traveling with my job now. A lot of times I leave it on the fridge, so I'll break my phone and I'll go out and about. Yeah. And this is probably the biggest thing, but it also lets me know at the end of the day there's so much benefits because especially with everything is going QR. If I got a train, I gotta use a QR code to get on the train. I can go there and get it printed, but now I gotta get there early and stuff like that. And so there's so many positives that come with this phone, or come with this thing, whether it be a phone, whatever. And I just hope that whatever the next invention is, because you see that I don't know if you've seen those glasses. Have you seen the glasses yet?
The Meta glasses, right?
Yeah. Them glasses where you can see the stuff in the glasses. I'm I hope whatever this next wave is a little bit better because that seems crazy to me.
That's nuts.
Got my notification right here.
Man, right.
What are you looking at? I'm just thinking.
Thinking, right. On the internet. Losing his mind. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And he's just doing fine. I'm just checking the emails.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm gonna get into some of the current events for the week. We can circle back on some of the other stuff. Is there one that stands out to you guys? I know we don't got that many, but I know there was some pretty interesting topics here.
Man, either it was gonna be the rich people or the 2-piece, man. But I'm gonna look. We got. I don't know. When I watched the video, because I couldn't watch it. I don't have TikTok, so I went on YouTube and just watched I think 10 minutes full, and I was
of the Jon Stewart video?
Yeah, the Jon Stewart. Thank you. And when I watched it, it made me just start researching. I'm just what does this mean and what does that mean? That's why I'm always asking for the homework, because if I look at it, I'm just I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to that. And I was trying to figure out. I said, well, how come just normal U.S. workers pay more in taxes than the richer folk?
Right.
Went down a rabbit hole a little bit, and it was these what do you call that? There was these gains that you make in regards when you buy a house, and then there's also when it comes to inheritance, they don't tax for that. So if you if I break off Joel $500K, they're not gonna charge for that.
Yeah.
Or even if you sell your house, so let's just say it's 200,000, you buy it for 200,000. You end up getting 300,000 when you sell it. You don't have to. It's 250,000 that doesn't have to be accounted for, basically. So I have to account for I'm going to only be taxed for 50,000 instead of the 300.
Yeah.
And so there's just small loopholes that I actually didn't realize, or tax write-offs that I didn't actually realize when he was talking about that, because I was oh, that's how they stay wealthy. Yeah. Especially when it comes when I found that out about the inheritance portion, I was wait, you can't tax for it? You just get a check, boom. All right, see you later. So
and the video he's talking about, Jon Stewart on the Daily Show recently had a dude named Matthew Desmond on. He has a book, and in the book he was just talking about the capital system in America, and pretty much it was just they ended up having a conversation about how. They had a conversation of basically saying the amount per year to lift people out of poverty would be $177 billion, which he said, put it in perspective, that's like 1% of our GDP. Yeah. And he was saying if the top 1%, not top 5%, top 10%, the top 1% paid the taxes that they were supposed to pay, it would be $175 billion, which would basically be enough money, if used correctly, to raise everybody out of the poverty. And it was like a stunning thought to think about. Like, wow, the top 1% paid their taxes like how regular people pay their taxes. We could potentially use that money to save poverty, and it's like the craziest concept ever. And like Anthony was sharing, when you look at some of the, I don't even like to use them loopholes because again they put them there for a reason, but some of the tax like abilities to like give yourself tax relief, it's crazy. Like if you have your stuff in the trust, and like, you know, if you have it in the trust and it's get passed down, like all that stuff gets passed down, like none of it gets taxed when it gets passed down. So it's like, because it basically, like if I gave you $500,000 today, it's gonna get taxed by 50% or whatever the percentage is, whatever. But if you were my son and I unfortunately passed away and I gave you $500,000, because it's passed down that way, none of it gets touched on taxes. And I'm not gonna really go into like if it's good or not, but it's like crazy to think like, you know, like I guess as a normal person, like I never thought about that. Like, how can I make sure this money like stays within this realm as much as possible? Sure. But I want to get your thought. Like, how do you feel about that idea that like, you know, it like we technically pay more in taxes on a percentage level, and that like, and wait, pause. Did you watch the full video?
I just watched the TikTok.
You watched the TikTok?
Yeah,
so you watched the full video?
Yeah, I about 10 minutes in.
About 10 minutes of it? So like in the full video, there's a part where he talks about like, you know, people are like, why people are against welfare? And they're like, oh, like, why does someone who's like making less money get more?
Right.
Like get more?
Yeah.
And he shared a statistic that was very, very interesting. He was like, I think people who are below the poverty line, the assistance they get, if they equate it to a dollar amount, it's $25,000 a year they get on top of whatever they're already making.
That's right.
But he was saying if someone makes more money than them, like this is like higher than middle class, I believe it was, the tax incentives that they get is like on average equates to like $35,000 they're getting. So technically the person who's above the poverty line gets more assistance from the government, if you want to count it like assistance, than the person below the poverty line. So it's like
and this
like
is in regards to tax.
Yeah, like tax breaks and like different things you can do. And I just wanted to like ask you, like, how do you guys feel about the concept in general of like how we have this capitalist society, and still we have people who are like struggling, even though we have like multi-billion. We got somebody that sent 5 women to space.
Bro,
you know, we sent 5 women to space, bro. And they was doing backflips in the spacecraft.
Gosh.
But we got people who like literally in America don't got water.
Yeah. And then they're over there talking about carbon emissions. Yeah. Like you just blew a rocket into whatever part of the atmosphere you're going to. Like what are you talking about?
He said, we're fighting for bluer skies.
Y'all gonna leave. Y'all leaving.
Yeah, but like, what do you do you guys have any like general thoughts, or like have you guys ever had conversations around stuff like that before?
Yeah, for sure. I have a different perspective. I'm more leaning on the side of the church taking care of people than the government. The way I've seen the government handle things throughout my lifetime and previous lifetimes, bro, like there's a reason why there's a tea party, right? You know, tossing that tea over. Like the government mishandles money all the time, down to the local level. And so it's like, how do we keep these people accountable? Because then, you know, they want to hide it, and we've seen it, bro. We've seen it. Like, I don't know. It doesn't matter what side you're on, left or right. Like you see it on both sides. Yeah, like people are getting tax breaks, right? Getting tax cuts for ridiculous things. And you know, more power to you if you're going to use the money for the good of the people. Yeah. But if you're not, then what are you doing? You have a responsibility, right? Yeah. And that stuff drives me nuts sometimes. I don't like to get too deep into it because I get too heated. But
I get it.
Like my perspective is, let the church take care of the widow, like the Bible says. The people that are actually hurting, the people that are actually struggling, let's give resources to the church to do that. And it was like that for many years, but then, the separation and things, kind of went rampant. But the misuse of money with the government, I just don't trust them, bro. I have a hard time. Whenever I pay my taxes, I'm like, I do not want to give you this money. my roads are still messed up. My taxes are still, or the gas tax is still going up. Like it's, and then I don't know. That's how I get
what you're saying, because like you said, I'm paying taxes, but I don't see the benefit that I'm getting. Even when you think about it from the I'm putting money in and it's helping people who are less impoverished than me. But even I see I'm pretty sure we all relate. Somebody abusing that, it's It's man, should I be running me a play too?
No, seriously, and then that cycle continues, bro. Because the dollar is not worth a dollar. When you make a dollar, it gets taxed. When you go buy something with that dollar, you pay in sales tax.
That's crazy when I think about that.
Like they want to tax you on everything you have. And of course, the rich people are like, it's whatever. It's a write-off, right? But for us that are around the poverty line or just above it, whatever it is, like that's not possible to live a flourishing life and to live a life that is the American dream, right? It's very much not equipped for that. And that is disheartening for me, that I have to raise children in a society that's like that. And I saw my parents struggle. My mom's first generation Mexican American. On my dad's side, they 3 generations ago they came from Italy. So it's kind of one of those things where I see my family moving over here for a better life, and now it's, dude, we got to work super, super hard just to pay the bills, not to even, flourish in a way where we get to pass it down to our children, but just to pay the bills so we can eat some food. But and there's a flip side to that where it's like we're relying on God, right? But bringing it back to like material reality, right, where people need to take care of the government from the local level to the state level, to the country level. And if we got people hiding money, taking money, whatever it is they're doing, right? Like I don't know too much about that Doge program or whatever. Like I think Elon Musk is doing something with it. But I've heard, I don't know if these numbers are real, but I've heard like the government was spending millions of dollars on like random stuff. Like, did you guys hear about that fluff pillow thing?
I didn't hear about
They spent like $1 million to make sure that there was fluffy pillows or something like that. You'll have to look. You have to look into that.
I've seen some of the stuff that they found, like when you see, because they have like the bigger amount of money that they go send out to places. And again, this is no knock. It's just a statement that they showed, was like when they sent money to like I don't know which side it was, Gaza or Palestine, whatever it was. It was like a allotted amount that was for Jimmy's. And I'm just like, wait, what? And not even like joking. Like I remember I saw it and I was like, why? Like I guess, but like what? So it's like stuff like that where I'm like, and I'm not gonna say it's like waste, fraud, and abuse yet, but I'm like you said, like what was the reasoning? And like why do we not get a reasoning?
And who is? Because they're for the people, right? So who is approving this? What people are approving this?
They need this, that, whatever. Like I've seen like when they take us up to like Africa or something like that, and they'll give like like pads and stuff like that. That makes sense because at the stores there, like they'll have like one box, and it's like y'all like like I don't have So it's like that makes sense, but it's like you talking about like you said, fluffy pillows, like. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, millions of dollars on fluffy pillows?
It was like some outlandish thing, and you'll have to fact check this, whoever's watching, but there's just the stupid stuff that we spend money on. So like if we were going to tax the people how the lower making money making people are getting taxed, and like if they were going to tax the rich people like that, and they were going to use the money for good, then sure, why not, right? But they haven't done it. They haven't done my money.
That's a good point.
So it's like I would rather be like, I'm gonna go empower my local church to take care of the person that needs food, the person that needs housing, and the regulations, bro. Also, because the Palisades fire that just happened in January or whenever that was. There was a church that I have attended before in LA that was housing people that their homes burned down, and they were able to get it approved by the city somehow, but it was hard to try to get it approved. And then the landowner was saying, if you guys don't stop this, we're gonna kick you out. Like, what's going on? Like,
that's crazy.
It's the whole cycle of things. Just the way our world is operating.
Yeah.
The church is trying to do good. It can't. It's it's not sustainable. So.
Got it.
But yeah, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, and I don't mean any offense by it. But yeah, if we can pour into the local churches, that way, not only are we taking care of our people, putting our words into action, but the gospel is actually getting spread through action, and we're able to bring these people in and support them. Like, I'm all about supporting people. Like, there's people, bro, that it breaks my heart. Like, you drive down to Sacramento, it's insane, 100%. Bro. No, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like, you just see the chaos that ensues. Like, people that are on crazy things. And they're spending every dollar they get on that. They need help.
Yeah.
The church needs to come and help them. Like, that's just my opinion. Like, that's their responsibility. Well, and the government, like, they can only do what they can do. But, yeah, I mean, it's just, in my opinion, the church needs to step up.
Yeah. And I agree. And that's the hard part, too, because, like, this is just a good conversation to me. Like, especially, like, are you guys familiar? And this is no knock to anybody. And this is just, like, we're talking through the conversation. Like, I saw, like, so I work for certain companies, and I do diesel service, and I sell diesel services. So I found out that, are you guys familiar with Bayside Church?
Yeah.
They're, like, all driving down to Mexico to, like, help build houses and stuff like that. They rented. It's like a big thing they do all the time.
Gotcha.
So they, like, rented hundreds of trucks and hundreds of vans and stuff like that to go do it. And, like, I heard that, and I'm like, that's dope. Like, that's dope, like, they're going to do that. But I always get conflicted because I'm like, okay, like, that's dope. I'm here for them to build houses in Mexico. But I'm like you said, there's, like, people here in Sacramento.
Dude, that's my biggest thing with missions, bro. Like, I'm happy if God called you to some other country, but, dude, my city is broken.
Yeah.
Like, that... Like, more power to you. I'll be praying and supporting you any way I can.
Absolutely.
I feel the exact same way.
Yeah, that's why that was like the big thing that like kind of drew me to like hope in the first place. Is like, oh, we're gonna like empower Oak Park. Like that's kind of that's fire because like you usually used to like we can get all the money and we finna go to another Africa. We finna go somewhere else where the money can go further. We can go to China or something like that.
Right.
And it's like, like it's just like interesting like that point of like. And also, it's crazy how like we have this government agency that's supposed to help us out, but when you look at some of the things that we have access to, there's so much stuff that I did not know came from like private people. So like the library system is now public, but like when I was learning about it like a long time ago, like the Andrew Carnegie, the most the richest person in the world at the time. His money went towards creating the public library system to make it as wide as it is now, like where everywhere there's like a library. Yeah. And it's like interesting, like when you think about that, I'm like, wow. So like, like if he did do that, like, would we have even like libraries in the city, or will we all be going to one big library? Like, what would that look like? So the point you're making, like the church getting involved, is so good to me because it really is like us doing what we can, what we got to like. Like pulling resources together, like help each other out.
Yeah.
What's your thought on it, like stuff like that?
Man, no, this is a rich conversation. I appreciate. I want it to be where the church has the ability to do that.
Yeah.
I think that would be absolutely great. And also, in my mind, I'm like, when it comes to like these tax write-offs or some of the stuff that was in the video, I think that it's also important for us to set up the church for success. I think that when we lean on the church to be like, hey, like we need y'all to be community based, all these other things. We also are thinking about like, man, like you got your job, I got my job, he got his job, and at the end of the day, whatever I'm building up, like I'm in my master's right now trying to become a counselor.
Okay.
And having the ability to, I don't know, in my mindset of just like, I'm going to use some of those tax write-off skills as a means so that I can be like, okay, if this is a way for me to generate wealth, I want to be one of those individuals that has the ability to just be able to pour back in to the church because I don't know, I think that there's just a lot of things that can happen. I know that you ended up sharing a little bit in regards to like some of your church experience regarding like some of the embezzlement situation, and you're just like, dang, I thought I'm rocking with some solid people, and yet there was somebody that was up under there that people thought that was solid, and he wasn't, or she wasn't. I don't know who it is, but you know, I think that helps, like being in that situation where someone can come in and be like, oh, this happened at the church. I want to be able to just like, you know, give. So then you wouldn't have to go through that whole pay cut, and pastor didn't have to go through that whole pay cut, and don't have to like. So in my head, I'm like a both and situation where I'm like,
it's not and or.
Yeah, man. Well,
it's and.
I wanna. It's like I'm trying to get this dollar. You know what I mean? And it's not getting this dollar as a means of just like I want to be, you know, Rockefeller and all of those things, but my brother inspires me, and a couple of my friends inspire me because they're so generous.
Got it.
And having space to like, there's been multiple times where I've had to stay with like my brother just due to like me staying with my mom but she couldn't like hold the house sometimes. But she had the ability to lean on a son, you know, that, you know, just had room.
Yeah.
And he does that every single time. Or he'll pay for like going to an amusement park, right? And I want to get to that level of wealth to where it's like I have the ability, like I have options to be able to give and not have to feel like, you know, and I'm not saying, hey, I still get my 10%, you know, and even more. Yeah. But I don't know. I just want to get to that place where I can like actually like give from like a place of just like, oh yeah, like me in the church like this, and this is going to be a place and a hub where people can feel safe, and also to train up some of the people, you know, that how to support and how to give true help, because like you were saying in regards to like individuals that are like out there, whether they are using certain drugs, I've seen them, I've experienced them because I'm a mental health case manager, and so that's what they're looking for, that's what they're needing and whatnot, but also, you know, creating some training in regards to just like, hey, like, what does it look like for a person that really wants help? What do they need right now? And then also, how can we create that accountability as well? I'm all about like, okay, you know, let's do this, and how can we encompass the person fully? It's not just I laugh because this is what happens when like some of the clients come in, like, I'm looking for housing, you know, and all these other things. I said, well, this is a mental health place. Like, you also got to work on this area of your life too, and sometimes that gets lost in translation. You know, they just like, okay, I got the rental assistance, and then we don't get no call back. I'm just like, but now we find out later on that you back homeless again. I'm just like, we did not deal with the root. And so that's why, I don't know.
I agree with you what you're saying, 'cause especially like, I don't know if I should. I think I've shared this on the pod before, but I haven't. I got a brother who has schizophrenia, so he's dealt with homelessness and stuff like that. And there's a lot of different like factors at play.
My goodness.
But the big thing is like getting him the help that he needs, because like, again, my brother is like, he's not as tall as me, but he like swole. So like, what like that on top of him having like these like having anger issues and having schizophrenia is like a dangerous combination to like of a person. And with that, it's like, so it's like, you know, when it comes to like housing him in our homes, it's like not really a feasible thing because he doesn't want to get disability. He doesn't want to feel like he's disabled. He doesn't. So like, he doesn't want to get disability. The medication process is crazy because it's like the way it works is like you use a medication for X amount of time, it starts to like lose effectiveness, and they have to put you on a new one.
Wow.
But it's all up to him to let people know what he got going on. So it's like, it's always like that toss up that happens.
There's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, so the big thing, the reason I brought it up is because like we talking about housing, like, you know, we're like, okay, like he can't stay here because he cracked somebody in the head with a golf club. So like he has to go somewhere else, and we want to help him, but like we can't house him. So we found all these like my dad found these programs, and the programs was like, yeah, he can stay here for X amount of time, and then once we feel like he's good, then he can leave. And like he'll go through the program, he's good, you know, better skills or whatever, get his own spot, and then something crazy happens and he get kicked out of the spot. We'll tell him like, okay, like y'all saying that he good, like what like how do y'all like how do we like I'm confused, and that's like that's where I kind of resonate with you when it says about the church part, because like what government programs, it has to be like we can't do this indefinitely. Like obviously it has to be like you stop.
Right.
But there's certain cases where it might not be. Like 3 months. They might need. They might need 6. They might need 9. They might need more. But it's like because the government program we only got 3.
Yeah.
And once you finish the 3, you gotta get up out of here.
Man, that's really.
Especially like I got a homie who like went through the foster care program. It's like like once you're like, granted, don't get me wrong. Most people don't really know that there's a lot of support for foster kids. And if you're a foster kid, please Google and look up the support. Like there's a lot of support for foster kids. Yeah. But if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
And those like people, people turn 18 and it's like, I don't gotta take care of you no more. Man. Like, man, you took care of my whole life. Like, I don't gotta take care of you no more. I don't get paid for you no more. Like, you gotta get up out of here. And it's like,
dude, that's crazy.
And then like, these people are already dealing with like, neglect because they don't have their own parents. So it's like, that's where like I resonate with you. Is like, like it's cool to like, we're gonna get this money to the government and they're gonna do right by it. But like, that's not the end all be all because. Yeah, they only have so much. Yeah. Then you think about the people who are getting paid; they're not getting paid what they should be to do said services. Yeah. So capitalism always like interesting thing because he made a good question. Like, does capitalism need poverty to like exist?
Wow.
And that was like an interesting question. I never thought about it because he was saying like. There's so many like there's like things that we benefit from poverty that we don't think about.
Yeah.
Like example like food stamps in California, we might not benefit from it directly, but because these technically these grocery stores are being subsidized by food stamps, we're able to get the prices that we get. Because if everybody who have food stamps stop getting food stamps, I bet you money that prices are gonna go up on food and stuff like that, or a lot of businesses are gonna close. So it's like we do benefit from these things in certain ways that we never think of. And it's like, I don't know. Like, what's your thoughts? Let me stop talking. Like, what's your thoughts on that part? Do y'all feel like to be at the top, there has to be someone at the bottom, or like, what does that look like? Sorry, I didn't mean to give you a heavy question.
Oh man, I know. It really is. I don't.
And by the way, we're not economists. We're just
we're just great. For the Friends podcast.
This is a conversation that come to mind.
In my head, at least my fast answer, and it could be corrected throughout this conversation, is like I don't think so. I don't think somebody has to be all the way broke. Somebody has to be all the way rich for it to work, but it would definitely change like the amount that everybody would have, which would probably be a lot more equal.
Got it.
And so, if like let's just say like you got a store and you sell bread and quote unquote like me and Joel just come and we just buy a bread a week. You're not gonna get rich off of that, but you are gonna make your ends meet. Off of that. But in my head, like if you're trying to make a conglomerate, it's like, you know what I mean? Like I need to get more people and then I need to get more staff. And then if I pay the staff this quote unquote low amount, but then I get like a return of like, I don't know, $50,000, whatever, then that's when I think that becomes like, what we got right now, which is like, well, I'm working, I don't know, 9 cents an hour for Najara to make this bread, and I get this certain amount at the end, and then I'm like, but I'm working and I'm making money, and it's putting food on the table. And I think that's where capitalists or business owners, they capitalize on that. They're like, okay, and I'm also gonna know that these individuals are gonna be spending their money on these shoes and stuff like that, or they're gonna end up getting out these loans, and then that's more money for me, XYZs. But that's where my mind goes. Like if we were to do capitalism a different way, you wouldn't just see this large, this large spectrum of like big rich and then big poor. Like it would definitely be like more moderate, and everybody would kind of be making around the same. That is my first thoughts.
And I like how you brought that up too, like kind of like what they call it, like arbitrage. Like I pay this person this amount of money to do a job, so I can then make more money,
right?
Because that original idea is like if I get 4 people doing what I do, now I can make 4 times as much and make X whatever. But it's like you said, it never gets I always struggle with the part of it getting trickled back down. And that's like why I crack. Like when you said that, I immediately thought of my favorite company, but the most hated company, and that's Walmart. I love Walmart.
Man.
Walmart's my favorite store of all time. But I hate Walmart because like Walmart's main model of like how they won in a lot of smaller cities is like there was a city that had like talking about decentralizing. They had like the Ace Hardware. Yeah. They had the mom and pop grocery store. Yeah. They had the paint store. They had these 5 different stores, and then Walmart comes into a city and goes like, Walmart, we got everything.
Yeah.
And now it's like
wipe everything.
Instead of me driving to Willie's grocery store and then Paul's paint, I can just go to Walmart and get all 4 of them things and my groceries.
You're done.
And it's like, you know, as a business person, you're like, well, yeah, good business. Right. But at the same time, it's like, but now we got this one company that dictates the wages. And it's like, sorry, like, y'all not a high performance store. We can't give y'all raises. It's like, but y'all the only store.
Right here, like, what am I supposed to do with this? You know, everybody out now. Let me increase the prices.
You know, and then like you try to go like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Willie's grocery store, but now Willie gotta charge $2 more for milk. You're like,
dude, right? And
that's like that's what's interesting when it comes to capitalism. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just so interesting, so interesting. We don't gotta hang on. I don't know if you got a point on it before we get off of it.
No, I have a love-hate relationship with capitalism. I mean, it's cool. Like, you know, I'm able to make a certain amount of money, but then all of a sudden it's like, wow, it's chaos, right? Yeah. Sometimes you look at it and people are really dirt poor.
Yeah.
Sorry to use that phrase. It's just like
it's really
they don't have anything. They're sleeping on the ground, you know, and so that's. I don't have a solution to that, unfortunately.
No,
you know?
not a solution.
It's not that I have to do it, but it's like in my mind, I would like to come up to something and be like, how can I help? You know, and my heart is always to help, and so that's why I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna turn to my church then. You know, exactly. How come I see this need? I need to raise this, this situation, raise awareness to the situation, and how can we help this one? It starts with one person, bro. Like if you can help one person, that person can help another. And it multiplies in that way. But I think I kind of have a new perspective because you're talking about like these programs that you both were about that the government has, and you know if there's a collaboration that can happen, that'd be awesome. Yeah, like if the government can make it easier for churches to do this, that would be like in my mind like ideal dream.
Yeah.
But I mean I don't have much else to say on it, but I just wanted
to make sure I didn't want to jump the topic. Like, dang, bro, I didn't get the same topic. I'm about to solve poverty right now. I'll like it all.
I wish.
Yeah. Far from it. My goodness.
You did mention. So I want to talk about on a lighter topic. We talked about the girl got smacked up. Did you watch the video of the girl got smacked up?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I saw another commentator talking about it.
So, to some people who haven't known, there was a post that was going viral on the New York Post, and there was a activist. Her name was Savannah Craven Anto, and she was interviewing a girl named Brianna Rivers about her views on abortion and stuff like that. And it was a heated conversation on it. We being honest, it was a heated conversation. Brianna was saying some wild things in the interview. I didn't watch the full interview, but like the parts that I did watch, she was like saying like stuff to the effect that basically like, because Savannah was like, well, do you feel like kids in foster care, like, you know, they don't got no parents, they should just be like taken out? And she's like, yeah. Wow. Like what, you know, why not? And I'm like,
right.
So like, you know, Brianna talking like that, whatever, they had this back and forth. And it all came to a head at the end where Savannah kind of like reiterated something that she said. And when she reiterated it, Brianna was like, you just don't understand, and got frustrated to the point where she just and you know,
there's some blood.
Busted her eyebrows. She had stitches. She had to get stitches and everything. She had to get stitches.
Yeah, she did, bro.
She had to get stitches. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all some context. Y'all might not know. This is where I kind of got upset about the video, because I saw the video. First reaction, dead, laughing, cracking up. I'm like, that's what she did. Why is she up there talking crazy, whatever? Do the research. Then I got upset. Why? The cameraman is her husband.
Yes, I did.
The cameraman was her husband.
I watched another video. Yeah.
So he just like watched her get pieced up.
It's like,
not that he should beat the lady up, but it's like you watched her get minked up. You recorded everything, and you just like didn't de-escalate the situation. Didn't feel like, and I was like, that blew my mind. And then like, I don't know. It just. This is an interesting video. Let women, and it also felt conflicted because the girl's a Catholic she's a Catholic woman, Savannah, the one who got pieced up. She's a Catholic girl.
Yeah.
And that's what she does. She kind of goes and does these interviews and stuff like that. She considers herself an activist. Yeah. But I wanted to, like, I'm, like, conflicted about this topic, so I want to get your thoughts on it. Like, do you feel like, how do you feel about the situation, seeing what you saw of it? Oopsie daisy.
I mean, I've definitely been mad to the point where I wanted to hit somebody.
Yeah.
But I haven't, just because I realize I might go to jail. And then, I mean, number one, it's not right. But number two, I don't want to go to jail, bro. Like, I'm not built for that. Like, no thank you.
Go to jail.
Yeah. I just
like.
I was shocked when I saw that. But
do you feel like you don't feel like there's ever space for violence?
I mean, if you got to defend yourself, absolutely.
Got it.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should instigate it if it just comes down to words. Like, be stronger than what the person is saying. Yeah. Right. I think it kind of gives way to more childish response. Like, I would do that to my brother if I was 15 years old. Sure. Like, I'd smack him up if I was pissed off, right? Or sorry, I don't know what I can say. I would want to wrestle him to the ground and be like, hey, knock it off. Right. But no, I'm not going to do that to another adult as an adult because they said some words. Yeah. Like, I might be fuming. I might get red. I don't know. Like, I might clench my fist, but I want to say that I wouldn't do that ever. And I my heart is in a posture of grace first and foremost. So
sure.
Yeah, I might be a little different than Brianna, right? Than how I respond in general. Yeah. Because I don't know who she is other than this video, right?
Yeah.
She could be really sweet. She could be, she could be violent. I have no idea.
Absolutely.
But I would like to say that, for myself, I probably wouldn't do that. No, I probably wouldn't throw hands at somebody. Yeah.
At least in that regard. No, I feel it, Joe. I very similar. If you're defending yourself, most definitely. That's always on me. Yeah, you have to at that part because there's just a point of violation that shouldn't happen to you. I mean, we've all experienced bullies. Now, there's bullies in different ways now that everybody's an adult now. Mm-hmm. And I think that I do agree with Joel in regards to just getting to the point of, hey, if this is just a word battle, then you got to be able to move on. People have said some disrespectful things, right? Yeah. And if we got to just regulate verbally and whatnot. And, once it becomes threats, then I think that's when it's okay, I don't know if y'all seen this video. There was a video of this, we're going to call him a Kevin. He was a bigger dude, opposite of a Karen, but it was Kevin. He was just walking up, and I believe the guy that was recording was the brother, and he was just I'm just standing here, and he was just don't come any closer to me. And Kevin's not saying anything, but he's just, he's kind of a bigger dude too, so he's just walking up to the guy. He said, stop coming over to me. If you come over to me, I'm going to hit you, And so he just keeps walking. He gets all chest to chest with him. And you don't see it on camera, but you just, you hear the camera.
You hear the scuffle.
And then and you see the recording, it almost skips scenes, and you just see Kevin just bloody on the right side. He said, I told him. Yeah. And so, I don't know, even though that wasn't like a verbal situation, it becomes a point where, man, if this person gets too close, I don't know what they're going to do.
That's a good point. Absolutely. Yeah, if it looks like they're going to be violent, they're coming towards you, they don't stop. Absolutely, yeah. At least shove them away.
You're not going to see me. I'm strong my jaw.
I got too much to lose.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Especially that warning and that barrier space and things like that. Because again, there's the Christian part of me, and there's where I grew up part of me. Yeah. So it's the first part that came out was growing up, not the best neighborhood.
Sure.
Everybody's respectful. So when you start getting disrespectful, people throw hands. Mm-hmm. And I've run my couple 30s where it's bro, you disrespect me, we gotta go outside, we gotta handle this, bro. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to handle this, now I feel even more disrespectful.
Right.
So when I saw that, the initial part was that's what she get for talking crazy. Not saying that she deserved it, but you can't talk crazy like that and then not assess the risk that someone might outlash at you.
Yeah.
She definitely did not deserve it.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you literally like say something like, granted, I get the girl said it that way, and maybe she didn't see it that way, but when you throw it back in her face like that on purpose, like, you said you're the one who wants to kill children.
Right.
It's like, what you like that? You don't understand what I'm trying to
start being messy. Yeah.
So it's like, you know, seeing the video, I was conflicted, and I don't know. It's just like, how do you like? There's a culture of like people going out and like antagonizing people. Like, even whether it's for like it's interesting too, because especially we're all Christians, like evangelism is a thing. And I remember with my ex-girlfriend, we had this conversation because I was always conflicted about like, there's like two types of evangelists in my eyes. There might be more, but these are the ones that I notice. There's like the one that goes out, asks questions, refutes points, stuff like that. And there's the one that goes out and like argues with somebody who's like not going to see your point. And like I always be like, when I saw this video, I thought of that. I'm like this could have easily happened to some evangelists that go out there. And like this person is not going to come to your side. All you're doing to do is challenge their point for no reason. And like you're antagonizing that person for like, what's the goal? And like that was my thing. Like when I saw this, was like, not faulting Savannah, but I was like, you did all that for what? What was the goal? And Brianna make a statement, was like, like she basically felt like again, this girl did this for content. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like she said I shouldn't have acted like that, but like she was antagonizing me, and like y'all just seen as like me hit her, but like, you know, she was antagonizing the conversation, it felt like, and she made content out of it at the end of the day, which at the end of the day was her goal. She went out into public asking for interviews. Exactly. You know?
Look, I mean, she went viral, but then at the same, this is a both and situation for me, because I think that we always want to shift 100% blame on either one side.
That's good.
And I think that when it comes to like conflict, at least me just growing up heart-wise, like church-wise, like I used to always be very, very self-righteous. And I'm talking to like my best friend, I was just like, look, like you take your 50, like own your part, but then understand that there's other things that play. It takes two to tango. And so in my head, like, Savannah, what are you doing? You're being messy. You are not representing like Christians well, like trying to do this, like, and to your point of just like, what is your goal of doing this? Are you just really just trying to force somebody to think how you think, or are you allowing them to think about saying like, hey, like, this is what this is saying. What is your opinion on this?
Like planting a seed or something.
You know what I mean? And at the same time, Brianna, like, at any point in time, you could have walked away.
Absolutely.
Like this, you don't have to engage. Like that's one thing.
That's the best point.
We do not wrestle with flesh and blood, but a lot of people do. I know. You know, and that's what that looks like. Like you really want to be like, man, like I'm gonna argue with you all day. I'm like, this ain't. You got to remove yourself from that at that point where it's just like, oh, I know where this is going. You know, you're like, oh, they antagonizing me. This is an open field. You are not in a trap room.
At all.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's I don't know. That was the first thing that came to mind, where I'm just like, both of y'all need to work on y'all, because at the end of the day, Savannah, you need to work on your heart and what your intention actually is. Husband, you need to work on your heart and what your intention actually is. Right. Let me go ahead and.
Not to mention, like, so, like, Paul on that, like, granted, not much that y'all can do in that situation, but, like, if you see your lady get pieced up in front of you and you're like, how do y'all react?
Still for a second, right?
Yeah, he
got shocked because he didn't think that, we're getting good content. That's what my mind.
Baby, we about to get that money. Never gonna have to work again. You finally did it.
Keep crying.
And you never know. He might have been like, that's what you get for not doing dishes last night.
Right. But on the interview, look, I saw the interview. I was there. I was the cameraman.
Wait, he did it crazy too?
Yeah, no, like, I went on, I looked on YouTube. I looked on YouTube, and it was like, almost kind of like a Christian news channel. And they did like an interview of both of them. And they just both sitting there, just pristine and whatnot. This was interesting. see, and you were the cameraman husband, and he was just like, "Yep, I saw everything. It was just crazy. It was just crazy." I said, "Bro, you didn't do nothing. We know what the video looked like."
Yeah.
But no disrespect to you. I'm just saying, bro. Like, what's your intention? But go ahead. What you about to say?
No, I agree with you. Like, and I like how you said like it's 50-50. Like you gotta take your part.
Yeah.
I can't fully blame her. Like, yeah, we can feel like she was in the wrong,
right.
but again, it wasn't one person in that situation.
Yeah.
There was an interaction there.
Exactly.
Yeah, she could have stepped away. We can all be like, well, she should have been the bigger person. But there was also a person who should have saw like, okay, this is getting heated. Let me exit as well. Like, so it's that 50-50. So
yeah, agitated people make good content, bro.
there was a video that should not have been funny. And that's the
like beat your stuff laughing.
That's the problem that I had. Like I was talking to my manager about this the other day, like yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
The way that I grew up, like the way I grew up, certain stuff is just like almost normalized to me. You're good.
Yeah.
Normalized to me, and it's like because of that, it's like a little funny.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, like the stories that I've seen in my family, my personal family, like fights and stuff like that. I'm like, that's just like unfortunately normal to me.
Yeah.
So when I see this, I'm like,
yeah, kind
it's like I remember we went through something like that similar. So like it was a video of like this woman, like it was a protest going on, and this older Karen, I'm gonna call her Beth because she was older. Like Beth like went up there and like she trying to grab the mic from this dude, and the dude's like, ooh, get away from me, and she turned around, she's like. Like I can't, but like, I can't. Like, I don't know what she's saying, but she's like screaming. It's like a protest. She's basically like saying something to the effect of like, "I won't stop till I die," basically, whatever.
Gotcha.
And as she's saying this, Kevin is walking up.
Yeah.
Like Kevin, older guy, got the he got the slump, and he like walk up slow. He took a step up. He hand on the thing, whatever. And as soon as he gets up to her, like face level, pow!
Oh yes,
smack the glasses off her. I said,
"See this video?"
Whoa! I said, whoa! And like,
oh my
immediate
god.
first reaction, dead. And second reaction, I'm gonna stay out of white girl business. But like,
man,
again, she didn't deserve that. But I'm like, when you do certain things, you also entice reactions from people. Exactly. So it's like if I go out and honk, like that's why I don't play about honking at people, like people off and drive. I don't even do that anyway. But like I see people do that, like
You never
people
know what they
standing
got in their car, bro.
I just know somebody. I had a friend. He just got out of the car, flicked somebody off.
Man.
In the middle of the street, got out. And the other dude, that's a truck driver too. He's flicking him off too. I'm like,
dude, like
you're better than me, bro. I'm not. Listen, if he get out the truck,
it's going right.
Yeah.
then what?
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't no punk. I ain't say you a punk, bro. But what? You're just trying to go to work, bro.
Man, that's it.
Yes.
So it's like,
man.
As people gotta be careful. I'm not again.
Facts.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. Shout out to somebody keep making your content. I wouldn't do it. I don't believe in street videos. I don't believe in going out there like even the dudes would be like, rate me 9 10.
Right.
Bro, it's like so crazy. Like why are y'all out there like messing with people, man? Like it's good. Don't get me wrong, we get something crazy, but it's like I know it's a lot of times like when a dude walks up, that's my girl. Hey, man, I don't want no problem, man.
No issue. No issue whatsoever.
That's crazy.
You see that video of the dude? He was in a mall and he was trolling this other guy. He looked kind of I don't know. He just looked really irritable. But the guy kept trying to mess with him, and he came close to him. I don't know if he touched him or was about to touch him, but he actually pulled out a gun on him and shot him. And the guy made a recovery, but like the YouTuber was found at fault in the court of law, and so the guy that shot him was like he was exonerated. And so it's, I mean, when it comes down to it, bro, like you're putting yourself out there. You know, Savannah is putting herself out there, right? And she's at the risk of whoever is going to react however they're going to react. And unfortunately, she got mollywopped. But that's just I mean, I saw she was leaking. I didn't know that she got stitches though.
Yes, she did.
She had to get stitches on her eye.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's at the same time, like you said, you just got to be careful, man. Like, especially where I grew up, like disrespect is just not tolerated. Especially like it's a zero tolerance thing. So it's one thing to be like, you know, we gonna disagree, we gonna go our separate ways, but like you to take it to that next level, it's like you can't, like, I don't know, it's just not something that I was raised in, like, you just can't do something like that without understanding, like, this might turn into a fade. Like, if I start going back and forth with a dude, I have to understand on some level, like, this could turn into anything. And am I going to go there? 9 times out of 10? No, I'm not.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That one time, though.
Culture plays, man, dude. Culture plays such a huge role. Like, I was watching, one of my favorite shows I used to watch was, I think it was like 60 Days In.
Okay.
And that was the, where just normal people, sometimes it could be probation officers, but sometimes it's regular civilians, go into a prison environment and stay there for like 90 days. Oh. The whole point is supposed to find contraband, see what issues are in the prison, and just report it back. When I tell you the environment, like you could feel the difference in regards of like environment when they're actually in there. Like I don't even have to be there, and I just know already. I'm just like, oh yeah, like there's so many people that go on that show and they do the code real quick saying I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, like they was all good. They was like, I think I should be fine. Yeah, they not gonna be messing with me. Like I remember it's like this police officer. Man, no, literally, Joe, literally. And so, but one thing that I ended up finding out was that if someone ends up, and I saw this for the male pod, I didn't see this for the female pod, but it's different. But for the male pod, if somebody like basically calls you the B word, like that's instance like either you're gonna be labeled that and we're gonna punk you the whole time for your whole sentence, or you're gonna fade. And that was like, you know, and so I can understand that part as well, like culturally, like, hey, like everybody's cool, but you're getting to the point now where like things are being said to where it's like labeled, and now there might be even backlash if I don't do something, you know. So it's almost kind of like, oh, you gonna let them talk to you like that, John? Like what the heck? Oh, and then next day, that part, man, that's the hard part when people start. Instigating.
That battery in your back.
Right.
Got some double A's right here. Yeah. Go ahead and handle your business.
Go to find them and add some more. You feel me? My gosh. So it definitely does play a role. I'm still rocking with Joe, man. Like it's where I'm just like, let me just give this grace area. I'm trying to live.
It's hard sometimes, for sure.
Yeah. Like this hard area, but we also have to understand, because I like what you said. When you are putting yourself out there, you don't know what culture you're putting yourself out there to. You could be fighting somebody from the hood, or you can be fighting somebody with a gun. And so you really have to understand, like, what is my purpose of doing this? And what is something that I know that I'm okay with happening if I do this. Maybe she was like, that's the whole point of this contest.
She was in New York. I would never.
Man. But honestly, just to create, I say to create better formulas of like trying to get your point across. AKA, hey, maybe I shouldn't be like saying these type of comments, but let me actually just inform people about saying, hey, this is what, quote unquote, in regards of however you think of pro-life or pro-choice or whatever, and this is the perspective that we're bringing, you know, biblically and stuff like that. But you know, creating content. I mean, like I said, you just don't know what culture you're going to be mixing in, and you don't know what culture cues and, you know, social norms they got. And so when something like that happens, don't be surprised.
Culture is such a good point too, and we'll go to the next topic. But the term weird, if you like from like the ghetto, bro, calling somebody a weirdo is like that's like worse than calling someone a B word. Like you call me like yeah, bro, you weird. It'd be like that's like it's crazy. Like I remember I even had a conversation with one of my ex-girlfriends about it. She's like, yeah, I can do with anything, but when you call me weird, it's gonna like that's gonna like take me to another level. I'm like, it's crazy. A word like weird, like, to us is like
it's a normal word,
but like you know, to a certain culture, it's like especially like maybe when I think about it on a deeper level, it's like, you know, black culture already has like this like almost feels like there's certain stuff that you can't do. You know, you get called corny for living your life right, and this and like that, whatever. So like you show if you show a side of yourself and someone calls it weird, it's like it's like nah, I'm not taking that.
I feel that. like because you know, for your situation to be like, you're not black enough for the black people, you're not, you know, civilized enough for the for the other folks. Right? Yeah, so like I'm Mexican and Italian, so for me it's like I'm not Mexican enough, or I'm not, you know, I'm not proper enough or whatever it is, right? So it's one of those things where it's you're walking, you gotta walk both lines, you know. Sometimes I get it, I get it. It's different in a sense, but I like
that culture part. Yeah, because man, it's we can talk about it another time because that would be a really good conversation. about how culture. On the concept of culture though.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys saw the article I put in there about the black men not going to college.
I did. Yeah, I did.
This is so. If people don't know, statistically, women are more likely to get a degree than men across all genders, and I mean across all races. I apologize, but when it comes to black people by far, especially this is specifically talking about HBCUs, it's like 20% of the school, like 20% of the school be male, and then like of those 20%, it'd be like 14% black men or something like that, and the far majority of the school be black women, and so this article came out about that number is still like black men are going low, is getting lower and lower and lower, and when I was reading it, I was just like shook because, you know, it's all perspective, right? All my homies went to college. I didn't go to college. Obviously, I know you black men went to college. My homie's in this program right now to become a doctor. My other homie went to LA, going to black school. Going to a school. He went to Dominguez. He graduated from Dominguez Hills or something like that. Yeah. So like, when I saw this, I was just like shook. Cause I'm like, dang, everybody I know went to college, except for me. So it's like, it's such an interesting to not know that black people aren't, like black men specifically aren't going to college. Cause like, if not, where are they going?
Yeah.
And there was an interesting conversation about like the long-winded effects of it. But I wanted to get like, I want to kind of go into the concept of like college in general, and maybe not go too deep if you don't want to, but like, you went to college. Did you go to college?
I did, yeah.
Did you graduate?
No.
No.
I went to community college and then a private Christian college,
Okay.
But I didn't graduate. No.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And did you have a reason, like you just didn't want to, or you got something better? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I had no money, and they were like, well, your parents make this amount of money, so you can't qualify for these. And I'm like, well, I can't pay for it, so I drop out. That's kind of how it was, you know.
And that's one of the points they brought up too when we get into it. But like, you went to college. What was the main driver for you going to college? What was the reasoning?
Man, I mean, I'm from my dad's side, at least. I'm like first generation when he came here from like Malawi, Africa. But my brother, basically we have different dads. But my older brother, he's a lawyer, and he was just always a hard precedent to like, you got to go to school, you got to go to college, got to get these things, you know, handled and whatnot. And so it was kind of like instilled in us to go. Me and my other brother. And in my head, I was also in AP classes too. So like, you know, even though like I went to a predominantly more, less black school, you know, anytime that I was in the classroom, you're surrounded by individuals that are like, yeah, so I'm going to UC this and UC that. And I'm like, let me tighten up a little bit, you know, because
just be.
You're right. And so I was like, okay, so my mindset is always going to be college because, for one, I'm in these AP classes. I'm surrounded by people that have aspirations to go to college. My brother is also pouring into me in regard to going. So I'm like, okay, that's going to be the push then. I know that my dad also added, you know, saying like, hey, you need to get a good job, doctor, lawyer, dentist, and all those things. But I think that those were like the main reasons of like, you know, why I ended up going. Yeah.
And you kind of touched on it too. I wanted to get, because like I didn't go to college, and the main reason why I didn't go to college was the money factor, but also what I was going to go to college for, I just realized wasn't for me. And like what I wanted to do, there was no college career that could fulfill it. Because I was one of those, the smart kids naturally came to me, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, but unfortunately, because now it's like you get treated a certain type of way.
Yeah.
So it's like I would get put in these AP classes. I was the going back, I still did the same thing, but like I was a noodlehead. I was like, I would get an AP class, and I immediately the first week like take me out of AP. I don't want to be in AP, and they'd be like, why not? Like you blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't like y'all doing homework during summer vacation and stuff like that. Like
it was real. Hey man,
yeah, bro, they told me you got to read one of these 3 books. I said, and then you got to do a book report and have it turned in the day you come back.
Wow.
I said, y'all could blow me. I'm not going. So every AP class I got dropped out of except for calculus. because there was no other math class, and my teacher, my shout out to my counselor, she was a good woman. But I told her, I was like, I was looking forward to having an open period my senior year, and you put me in AP Calc, like, what's going? It's all right. Now you don't want to go to college. I'm gonna force you to do this class because it's gonna be better for you. It's gonna look better in your resume, or whatever. I'm like, oh my god. So like my senior year, unfortunately, I had AP Calculus, and it was a great class. Wow. I bombed it, but like only because I had got a surgery in the middle of the year, and like this because you're an AP. In a regular class, you go over a topic for like a week. Mm-hmm. In AP, it's like a topic a day. Like it's like back to back to back to like you're getting into it, and it's fun if you're like inclined in that way. Yeah. But if you're not, struggle fest through the whole year. Yeah. So I'm going. We killing it. I go out for surgery. I'm out for like 2 or 4 weeks or something like that. Mm-hmm. Come back. I'm 2 to 4 weeks behind. Jar, you gotta catch up. I can help you all you want, but like we're gonna keep going. Yeah. By the time the end of the year, we're gonna have this period where we're studying for AP. That'll be a good time for you to catch up. But like you just gotta kind of hop in and get into it. Yeah. After that, get
into it.
Following down the hill, can't catch my feet, just tumbling. it was bad. It was bad, bro. That's how I felt. Like it's like imagine running down the hill and you tumble and you're like, oh, you can catch it. Like you're not catching yourself. You just keep on tumbling until I got to the bottom. And the year was over. I said, ooh wee, that was rough. I still had to do homework and everything. Man. So. But once I was talking to him, shout out to Mr. Ian, he was a great teacher. Mm-hmm. He asked me what I wanted to do, and I was like, I kind of want to go into engineering, like aeronautical engineering or industrial engineering or something like that. And he was like, why do you want to do that? I said, well, I'm just interested in because engineering field, you kind of you're creating things, but you also with the math, you figure out how to minimize materials. You can use math to do these different things, and that really interested me. And he's like, have you looked up what the work day of one of these engineers looks like? And I'm like, I haven't. He's like, you should look it up. Mm-hmm. Looked it up, 60 hours a week in the office. So you get salary, you start 100K, mm-hmm. But it's you just you said I lived there. Yeah, that's all you're doing is trying to figure out these equations and figure out these complex problems that nobody has an answer to yet, and you have to figure out your unique solution to it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that, bro. Yeah. I'm so sorry. And he was he's like, yeah, that's why I tell people this so they can look it up, whatever. So at that point, I'm like, well, I'm not going to college because if I'm not going to college for math, there ain't nothing I'm going to college for. I ain't going for English or nothing. That's out. Yeah. So I started my journey on just trying to figure that out, which led me to where I'm at now. So yeah. You kind of touched on it about your brother was a lawyer. Yeah. Was there other people in your life that was learning?
Just my brother before me. So my brother Jesse, he's a lawyer, and then my brother Jatanda, he went to college before I did. And I think that when it comes to family, they can really influence you to Absolutely. Hey, make sure that you do something, make sure that you go to college. My mom was never super, super hard on us on going. She was just proud that we graduated and are going. Mm-hmm. But my older brother was saying hey man, you got to pick something that's it's gonna have some investment. Please don't go there. If you're going to a state college, please don't go there just to do communication, please.
Hey,
you do that, right. Hey,
keeping the states fed.
It is no disrespect at all. Matter of fact, I still want to go back and do a communication class because I want to do better with my public speaking. But all that being said, my brother was just saying, it's just too expensive for you to just go in there, get the degree, and not get into something that's going to help you pay it back. Mm-hmm. But I think that I ended up still getting the okie doke because, even when you got your bachelor's, they still looking for okay, well this is here's the bare minimum that we're giving. I said, dang, so I need a master's for me to actually make the real screw. And when it comes to, and I could be incorrect, corrected during this conversation, but the baby boomers, they were you go to college, you get a degree, and then you in there. And we millennials, we try to do the same thing. They were saying make sure that you go, and we got there, and we were oh, this is okie doke.
Well, they raised the standards. Man. Because before it's you need AA, BA.
Yeah, right. And
now it's you need a master's. Bro,
that's not what was told.
That's a lot of years and a lot of money.
Yes, exactly.
So what about you as far as family? Did your family go to college? What did that look like?
Both my parents went later on in life. Okay. So my dad was a pastor, so he had a ministerial degree. from a private college later on. I think he was in his late 30s when he graduated. And then my mom also around her late 30s, she got her AA.
Oh, nice.
To work as an admin in different offices. So yeah, that's kind of the extent of what my parents did. But it was a lot later in life, where I could remember and I could see them, struggling in school while I was also, doing my school in grade school,
Yeah.
So it was looking back at it, it was kind of weird, but it was encouraging, my parents did that for themselves and for me, my siblings. So, but yeah, that's kind of where my parents were at.
You ever think about going back to school?
I do all the time, bro. All the time, yeah. I want to. I've dabbled with in my mind. I've thought about I want to help people on a personal level. Counselor, something like that. I don't know if I want to go to the extent of therapist, but my heart is to be there for people because, dude, I know the dark thoughts they get you, and so I just trying to think of a way I could do that while raising my kids and leading my family. It's hard.
That's a good point.
It's hard.
That is tough.
But yeah, in a perfect world, if I had the time, I had the resources, absolutely, I'd go back and do that because it would validate me to go and do it professionally,
Got it.
So there's always that hindrance. I could do it on one-on-one, with my friend or somebody who's like, hey, I got this guy who could talk to you, and then they hit me up. I can do that, but it's I can't do that as a profession, and it's not sustainable for my family. So it's kind of playing playing it where I want to be empathetic and there for people, but also I gotta be supporting my family, and it's taking too much time if I do that.
Absolutely.
So there's a few people that I mentor in life, and I'm mentored, thank God, because I need it. But it's it'd be nice to make that my career path if God wills it, but I'm kind of just piecing it together slowly, just with the desires.
That's good.
Yeah.
And again, I think my family is the same way. My mom grew up. My mom and dad both went to college. I think they only got their AAs. Dad was a paralegal. Mom did some paralegal work. Dad did. My mom graduated. I don't know if she had her. She might got to be something. I ain't never seen a degree, but she was a nurse for a while. But not like an RN, but LD, she did nursing to an extent.
Okay.
So I know she went to school for that, and I remember she told me she had debt she had to pay. I'll never forget that.
Man.
So I know my mom went to school, dad went to school. My mom's husband at the time, his mom was super college, that was what saved her life. She had all them kids, and she went to school and got it done, and that's what took her out of poverty. That took her completely out. She was a nurse back in the day when there wasn't that many nurses. So family had this background of school is the answer. If you're not going to school, you throw your life away.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go back at some point. But the article talks about the long-winded effects of not going to school, and one of them that was really interesting was the social effects. So one of the points they talked about, and not only in this article but in other articles, was with women being higher or more likely to get a bachelor's degree when they date, because the pool don't have that degree. They basically don't have an equal. They have less equals to date from.
Okay.
And as far as it's inside the same race, the race.
Yeah.
And they're talking about that social aspect is what is disheartening to men, because you might meet a quality woman, but she's you just don't got the same education level to me.
Yeah.
And I've seen, if you ever seen Pop the Balloon, they talk about all the time the way you talk, I just can't, what I'm saying? Which I'm not gonna get on a tangent, but if y'all ever heard Ryan Coogler talk, bro. Crazy. He a really smart dude, but he talk about Oakland dude. And So when I hear people say that, anyway, I won't get into it. But I want to say socially, have y'all, with you being someone who has a degree and someone who doesn't have a degree, have you seen social? Have you had to face social? Any social consequences for it?
From those. Oh, okay. Right.
Or I can start too, because I didn't go to college, so I know
that as well. Actually, kick it off, and then I'll have a better response for you. Yeah.
So my main thing was or when I first didn't want to go to college. First of all, everybody thought I blew my shot. This is dad thought for real, because you think about it, you grow up a gifted child. My teachers are calling my mom. Najar, like, I don't know what's going on at home, but like Najar is not applying himself at school. He's the only person who got the answer to the questions, but he won't answer the questions. Mm-hmm. Like, I know he knows the stuff, this, that, whatever. Like, I got into that with my French teacher, blah, blah, blah. Like, would get D's on the report cards, but when it comes to STAR testing, I'm like advanced and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. If you guys remember STAR testing, so like, like coming, like being that kid, and then like, it's college, it's time to go to college, I'm like, nope, not going. And like, not even community, nope, not going. I'm not even gonna try community anymore, straight to work. And it's, you know, like that, like I face, and my mom doesn't like to admit it, but I face a lot of like social, from a family level, like just, disappointed. Yeah, like mom just feel like I'm throwing my shot away, dad just feels like, especially when you're like, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, I'm gonna go to work though, like I'm gonna go to work. I'm like, I'm not doing nothing, but I'm not going to community college just to get the degree, you know, just to be wasting time there. It felt like. Yeah. So like socially, I dealt with that. I've never really been affected as far as like friends and stuff like that, because a lot of my friends were from high school, so they kind of understood, and I still like kept myself like learning like through reading and stuff like that. So I've been blessed in that way with people. You have conversations and they see that you're knowledgeable and you look for knowledge. But I know socially for my family, I was affected pretty heavily. And I'm trying to think. I don't think I've had any partners. I know I've had partners like felt like I didn't understand what they were going through because they're going through college, which was kind of like trash. But that was about like, as far as like my social things, like I think when you don't have, like, once I got closer to 30, I think that's probably when I saw a lot more like, especially if you don't have a decent career, it's like, you making minimum wage, bro. You got no degree. Man, I'm telling you, man, you shouldn't want the. And you kind of, you know, you trying to hustle, but you're like, dang, you know, like man, like if I had a degree right now, or I should have became a police officer or something like that. So I know it was a lot of doubt that was sowed in me, not going to college, from family, but also from like, you know, as I was getting closer to my to the 30s, there was doubt. There was kind of like, you know, like, for people who finally started to get their degrees, there was kind of like that. I won't say anybody's ever truly looked down on me, but like, you know, you feel like that superiority is like, bro, I got a degree, bro. I'm living different. You know, it's different. You know, you dealing with that, so, which causes like, you know, again, like, this is a lot of like, what's that thing they call like imposter syndrome? Like, I felt like I'm doing good in life, but because these other people have this thing that I don't have and I didn't go seek, I'm feeling like worse off. Cause like my homies got degrees, but they also like work at Yard House or something like that. So it's like, I got my BA, but you work at Yard House, and I'm like, but I'm just seeing the BA, so I'm like, dang. But I'm like doing something that's like, feels successful. I'm making good money. I have a savings account. I don't have no, like, at the time I had no debt. And these people are like $40,000 in debt, nice car, degree, working at Yard House. I'm like, dang, bro. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go to college, man. You know, so like that was a social thing that I always dealt with. That now looking back, when I don't understand, because now I'm close to 30, I'm like, I don't care. But like that 25 to like 27 age, I was like,
alright, I'm blowing.
Yeah, man. I remember I had a girlfriend, shout out to Kiana. That was her big thing. Like, oh, you gotta find you a career that like that looks good. Like she didn't say that verbatim, but like basically like, yeah, go become a project manager or something like that. I'm like, what's wrong with being a mechanic? Like, I'm making really good money. They're like, well, it's like, this is different. Like, you know, people will look at you a certain type of way for being a mechanic. I'm like, but I'm making like, if it's like, I'm making good money. It's kind of like the UPS driver. Like, UPS driver starting to make 6 figures. I don't care about the UPS driver. I can make 6 figures. I'm a floating bin that corner. Right. I'm a swirl in that corner. But what about you guys? Socially, how did it hang out?
No, I'm glad that you answered, because now I'm basically understanding the question a little bit more. But I also wanted to acknowledge. You said something, and just want to acknowledge that. To each person, they have a different journey. And I love the fact of the matter that you ended up sharing yours in regards to just like, man, I didn't go, I had this quote unquote potential that everybody saw in me, but how the potential was used wasn't in agreement with them, but it's something that I wanted to do. So this is just a reminder of just like, man, everybody on their own journey in regards to that. I went because I had an affinity for education. I still have like this love of trying to become a professor too. So I love being around education. Even going in like right now, going for my master's, like I'm gonna be glad when I'm done. I'm taking a long break, but I still want to go for my PhD. To answer your question, socially, I mean, like nothing really like changed too much. Like, of course, you're talking with other like college students and whatnot, and everybody is like, man, you're going to school. We're proud of you. You're doing your, well and whatnot.
Your big one,
man. Like, you did your thing, bro. But then at the end of it all, like exactly what some of your homies went through, where it was just like, man, I got a ton of debt. I haven't been in the industry, and all the industry is looking for experience, even though I have the degree, and I'm just like, this is my opportunity to get experience. If you tell me I need experience to get experience.
I said this was entry level. What you got?
Right.
I need scissors to open up this package of scissors.
For real.
But exactly, that was literally like my social experience. And then,
did you feel like, were there people who like, maybe saw that you had a degree and felt like you were on a different, like, felt like you couldn't relate to them in certain type of ways, or not really?
Man, I mean, not really.
Especially I imagine you had circumstances when a lot of people you say probably went to college with you.
Yeah.
I would say, I wonder if you dealt with any issue when it's like, hey, I can't do this because I got class, or I gotta do homework, or I gotta do this and whatever.
Sure. So in that realm, I mean, there was a lot of maturing that I had to do too, because I wasn't always on that tip, especially when I got to college. Man, I was really like arrogant because I never had to study in high school. Like I was just like, like it was really like that. Like I'm getting good grades, and then, but even though the AP classes like humbled me a lot, where I would get B's and F's, but those represent A's on a regular scale, and then but I never passed any AP exam, and I was like, dang, is something wrong with me? I was like, well, whatever. So I'm gonna keep going, but like that affected me socially, because I couldn't like match up to what was happening, education wise in like my cohort. Like they were like, oh, I'm gonna get this, I'm taking the AP exam. I can't believe I got a 3. Like the highest that you can get is 5, and they're looking for like 4s and 5s. They're like, I can't believe I got a 3. Bro, I'm getting 2s down the line. You don't get no credit for 2s.
Yeah, not at all.
And so I start getting quiet. I start getting silent, because I'm not trying to say. I'm like, and I didn't want them to look at, oh, the only brother in this class, and to be expected.
Yeah.
I still experienced some of that going into biological sciences at Sac State, where there was. It seemed like everybody just like they just knew each other. Yeah. Like it just like they clicked up. And I felt like really, really like, I want to say even like isolated or alone in a lot of these like biological science classes. When I was doing my GE, like it was cool. But like when it got serious, like it almost seemed like, man, I got to be up on it. But it feels like, I don't know. It feels
not with me.
Yeah. Like it felt very like just isolating. And so socially trying to get the degree, that one was hard for me, because I was trying to get a good grade in a hard class, and then you're trying to like figure out like, hey, can like I study with y'all? Oh yeah, well we study at this time and at this person. Like you can come through if you want. Got it. Like, and they basically you have to like prove that you actually wanted to study like them.
Got it. So even though you was in the class with them, they felt like they didn't know if you was on the same serious tip.
Yeah. As them. Which I'm not mad. Like if you gotta be a doctor, be a doctor. If you're trying to be a nurse, you gotta get all A's. But
your welcome to the league moment.
Yeah, man. It was real, man. It was real. But I wanted to do things differently during my like Sac State experience. Like I said, I had to do a lot of maturing, just because when I got there, didn't think I had to study. Started to get C's, and I was like, what is going on? I used to be good in my class, and like, we in college now. So I had to get through that. Had to get through like not playing video games so doggone much. Like it was like you know, because you could meet socially, you can meet other individuals that are like you, like, yeah, let's play like some, back in the day it was like League of Legends, and so it was like, let's play your League of Legends.
Bro, I'm on low, bro.
Man, dude, and the right, not the positioning. Man, dude, and I wasn't even good, but you would just put hours, and like we can talk about the phone right now, but you just put hours and hours, and you just weren't studying. And I saw my friends just graduating, and I wasn't bombing like all my classes, but I just saw like, oh, like at the end of the day, it's just me.
Yeah.
And so socially, I was like, okay, let me actually get it together. Yeah, for real. And so I did it for myself. I don't think that anything changed, but you know, when you start to stay into school, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I was in school for like 8 years at Sac State trying to get that biological science degree.
That's a hard degree to get though.
Dude, it was
Chem?
Man.
My ex-girlfriend did Chem, bro.
Man.
That class, it seems like
pass with forever.
Bro, it seemed like you gotta be Einstein, bro. The stuff, the configuration she was doing, I said, that's what y'all doing?
Man, dude.
Nah.
I tried to do it over the summer, got mollywopped, did it regular, and then I still got a C. I said,
bro,
whatever, we passed.
Because like Chem is like, it's kind of like, imagine like a math problem, but it's with like,
with molecules.
Elements.
Yeah, man.
It's like so it's a molecule.
Yeah,
you gotta figure out like if I combine these two molecules together, what happens to the molecules, how they shift based on properties. And she was showing it to me. I was like,
this is how you make it.
This, and then this will become a negative, and this I'm like, oh nah, bro. I said, listen, at least I'm shout out to my doctors, bro.
Right.
Y'all did y'all
we
thing.
don't even use. See, the crazy thing is that we don't even use Ochem, man. That mess is just like, unless you about to be an Ochem professor, like. You're not going into your doctor's room talking about, so I gotta move this molecule for this one for you to get the ibuprofen. You ready to do that with me? No, they just give you the ibuprofen and call it a day. Like, no,
that's crazy.
Man,
I never even thought about that.
Yeah,
that's like way beyond me.
Exactly.
What about you
as far as socially and
all of that?
Well, with my parents, it almost felt like they discouraged me from going. And I'll kind of elaborate. My dad is a pastor, or was a pastor. And it was kind of like, you know, that was to be expected. I was going to be a pastor, right? So I was going to go be trained up.
Don't worry about school, son.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things. Like I didn't get a job, like a regular job until I was like 18 years old. And I was trying. I mean, that's young, but I was trying to get a job like the day I turned. What was it, 15 and a half? Or 15, whatever it is for the worker.
I think it was 15.
Yeah,
I could work 3 hours a week.
Yeah.
One half shift, baby.
Yeah, would come in, clock out. I was trying to. There was a Tilly's right around the corner from my house, and I was trying to apply there. My dad was like, "No, I don't think you should, son." And I was super sheltered, right? So my dad's like, "They play some crazy music in there," and I was like, "The music, bro. That's why I can't go get a job."
You don't want to hear what they're playing. Very secular.
Yeah, I joke with my dad now because like obviously I'm 28 years old, so I'm far removed from that.
Sure.
But it just cracks me up because I mean in that moment I was like feeling like I'm being so controlled. I want to go make money. Like I want to get a car. I want to get a girlfriend. I eventually want to get married. Like these are the things I want to do.
Yeah.
And my dream, like my senior year, I was like, I love music. I'm gonna go to LA study music. That never became a reality because money and also like I had no resources. My mind was blank when it came to like, okay, what do I do next? I had no idea. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I have no idea.
Real.
Yeah, and I didn't have like a traditional school counselor. I went to a charter school because again I was sheltered. My parents didn't want me to go to regular public school. I honestly I thank them for that. I probably would have been fooling around with girls.
95. I'm almost positive you would have.
Yeah, I'm just bro. Like I don't know, like God spared me from that. But on the flip side, like I didn't have a real counselor to like lead me and prepare me in that. So I was very much lacking. I had a hard time in high school.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it was with my parents because it was like, okay, we know, like they felt like God called me. I felt like God called me to be a minister. Like but I viewed that in the lens of I need to be having a mic and a pulpit, right? And so that's kind of how my idea and my vision formed around that calling. And so it's like, okay, what can I do to? My parents were trying to equip me to do that, right? And I was always at the church. I grew up basically on Stockton Boulevard in Sacramento. Like that's just kind of That's just what it was. Like I went to the private school, and then I was there. I played drums. I was a part of the youth ministry. Like I just was there, and so just kind of learning how to operate in my gifts that God blessed me with, and then you're gonna go to Bible college, right?
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, there's this funny joke where it's basically like a lot of times Bible college students are not well versed.
Yeah.
So their excuses. Oh, sorry, I went to Bible college, right?
Yeah.
It was just so funny because my wife actually said that we both went to the private Christian college together, and it was hilarious. She was doing announcements, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I'm fumbling over my words." She's like, "I went to Bible college." I was like, "This is not a good look."
Yeah,
but no, I mean,
so funny.
People lacking,
Yeah, it's his life. It's a guy. He used to be a salesman for my company. And his excuse when he would like argue back and forth was like, "Sorry, I was raised by two women."
Oh, man.
He's like, "I just want to argue. I'm sorry, I was raised by women."
That's tough, bro.
I'm like, what? But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hilarious, bro. But so it was kind of like my parents wanted me to live my life a certain way, and that's how I felt. Not that they were saying that, right? But it's how I felt. So I kind of felt trapped, and it came down to literally like the last week before CRC was gonna start classes, and so I went ahead and I went to go do my placement test to see what classes I would take, and I placed high in English, and I placed like average or just below average in math. I've never been good at math.
Yeah.
So I get into this advanced writing class in English.
Oh, nice.
Totally out of my element though. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I wrote and got A's, in English, but I just felt so out of my way. Like it just was chaotic. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And of course, first year of college, everybody's gonna have that feeling somewhat. And then with math, I had this wonderful professor. She was so gracious, very nice lady. I'm pretty sure she had been Christian. I don't know, but she had been she was just very gracious. Helped me on a level like I felt like I was the only one in her class, And but yeah, so that was my experience at CRC. I was there for a semester.
Yeah.
After that, I kind of things shifted, and I was needed more at the church, so I didn't have time. Basically, went and did a lot of hands-on ministry, and that's how I met Pastor Caleb. Actually, he came to that church eventually and became the youth pastor, so I was under him. But yeah, it was as far as the social stuff. Like with my parents, I felt like they wanted me to do the Christian version, and then with my friends and my cousins that went to university, I really felt like they didn't make me feel the type of way. I made myself feel the type of way. So that's my experience personally. But,
and that's a good part about the social part. It's not always that someone makes you feel a way, but you also just because again, people are having experiences that like. I think that I always think about that I I will never experience because. Even if I go to college later in life, it'll be wild. It's dorm life. Like, my friends all had, not all of them, but a lot of my friends who went to a university had dorm life, and I'm like, dorm life sounds like so much fun. And not even like my friends even weren't even that way because like GCU, so like they're around still debauchery happening at GCU, but it's like it wasn't like that because again it's predominantly a Christian college. So like, but this like. Them all being together, being in the same space, studying together. So like, I'm like, dang, that sounds like a vibe. What the? So like, I remember even though they didn't make me feel away, I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
I'm over here going to work every day, getting this check. That's it.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I don't know. Do you feel? And we can end it on this. We hear the statistic that, men or women are more likely to go to college, blah, blah, blah. Men are going to college, but not on like an extended place. I mean, you guys are both married. Like, do you feel like, because that's what it seems like the worry is, like, how does it affect people also in a relationship sense?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like that? I guess you could say, like, you making money from not having a degree? Do you feel like that ever came into play when it came to like a relationship, or like when it came, well, because you guys are both married, so like you met your girl at college, right?
No, well, I met her at the old church that I
Old
used to go
church.
to. Yeah.
She was just going to college separately.
Yeah.
Got it. And then you grew up, like, how did you and Jordan meet?
Met at church, yeah.
Met at church too? Thanks. Oh, look at this. I met my girlfriend at church. Look, I'm just saying. I'm going to college, go to church.
If your brother in Christ, bro, go to church. Go to church, bro. You'll find something. Don't worry. It might take a minute, but you should.
Yeah, man.
We don't got no insight on that part. Well, because that was what they were talking about, like, you know, about the relationship part of it. But shit, I'm not gonna ask you if we ain't never related. We all.
Hey,
Just go to church, y'all.
Hey, go to church. But regardless of the dating world, results may vary.
Seriously, you never know what you can find out there.
For real, that's crazy. But appreciate you guys. I had a segment, but you know we've been having good conversation. I'm gonna save it for next time when we get together or whatever.
Sure, man.
We can do it again because I'm excited about the segment, but I don't, you know. We 2 hours and 30 minutes deep.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, dude.
So,
I'm having fun.
I've been enjoying myself too. I'm just running out of storage on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
On the SD cards.
Hey, it's time.
But as always, I appreciate you guys. Great conversation. Like I said, we got to do this again, have some more fun. Is there any closing thoughts you guys had?
You've been great, man. You doing your thing with this, and I appreciate you inviting me back on, man.
Anytime.
Yeah, no, I'm just so grateful that you invited me out, bro. Like, I was like questioning, like, what is he gonna talk about? What's the interview gonna be about, or not necessarily interview, but the podcast gonna be about? And then when you sent me that rundown that you had, I was like, dang, dude, this guy is like really thorough. He knows what he wants to talk about.
Yeah.
I was blown away.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't think you were capable of it. It's just that I'd never been on your podcast, so I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And so I'm behind the scenes, like I've seen your podcast, but behind the scenes. So I was just very grateful at like just the preparation.
Yeah.
And like this guy's serious.
This guy's not playing.
Yeah, no. It's a blessing to know you, and it's a blessing to be here. And I'm just grateful that I got to talk to you guys today. It was awesome.
No problem. Like I said, we're going to do more of it, man. I'll tell you more offline about something I told him about. Maybe we can do it, but or maybe not, because we talk about we'll talk about it later. But thank you guys as always. If you haven't already, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. If you guys don't know, if you subscribe to the audio version, you get the podcast early, the audio podcast early. So make sure you guys do that. Spotify, Apple links are in the bio. And I catch you guys later. Peace.
You're my special friend.